Good morning. Good morning, Yolanda. Just talked to my mom yesterday and she said to say hi. I can't hear you.
So, is he doing okay after her surgery?
Oh, hold on. I can't hear you for two reasons. I don't have my headsets on either. All right. Now I can hear you.
I was going to email to her to check on her after her surgery.
God, that feels so long ago now.
Say hi to her when you talk to her again.
I will. I will. All right. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. Sound off.
Good morning.
Yeah. And this one. Okay, so I'm all signed in through all my computers. There we go. And keep going. All right. So guys, how's the week been? Air's been much better. Hold on. Got something about to spill over here. There we go. I forget that for this class I need my phone connected, so let me connect it to the cable that connects to the computer. There we go. My computer cable is the one that needs to be connected. Okay, so remember that you can bring your phone up. Let me make sure that it's all.
So everybody get their ballot?
Yes.
What's that? Everybody get what?
Your ballot in the mail.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? No. When?
Yesterday.
Oh, maybe it's in the mailbox. Yesterday is Sunday.
Hi, Mayuri.
Oh, no, yesterday was Monday. What am I thinking of? Yeah, it's probably in the mailbox still.
Yesterday was Tuesday.
I got the booklet with instructions, but I didn't see the ballot. Anyway.
Yesterday was Tuesday.
My brain. Okay. It's you know how I said, oh, yesterday was Sunday. So my brain, I'm thinking it's Monday. That's how bad things are. Everything is one big continuum now. Time has no meaning anymore. I actually had an appointment yesterday, and I was like alarms on all over the place to remind myself that I had to leave the house, drive. It was like, oh my goodness, do I remember how to drive anymore? Anyway, yeah. Okay, so I made it. Okay. So welcome. Those of you who haven't yet, please go to the chat and give a little show of morning life or something like that. Well, I let people in. I just wanted to say, as people are joining with their second computers now, go ahead and do that. And I wanted to say that, do I have it here? Let me check. And yes, next week, okay. I'm so glad I remembered to see this. Next week, macOS level 1 begins, or will begin if I get some more people to sign in. So I'm appealing to anyone who is interested in this class. I'm trying to find the code right now. Give me a sec. It would help if I were to, for example, put on my glasses. Aha. And there was light. Okay. I thought I had the computer opened up. Here we go. So I'm checking in on the code. If anyone who tends to have it available has it already.
I have it, Deanna.
Thank you. Thank you. What's the code for OS level 1? And I'll write it down.
It's CRN 41819.
Okay, cool. So I just wrote down in the chat the code for oh, about to sneeze. Stop my sneeze. Stop. Ooh, tickle. It didn't happen. No sneeze. Yay. Okay, and that's Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 9 to 11:55. So it's just like this one from 9 to 12.
They're showing it Thursday.
Oh no, it's actually 9 to 11:45 or something like that. Okay, what did you say? Someone said
They're showing it as TR. I thought TR was Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Oh,
T and TR.
okay.
So it's twice a week. And after that one finishes, macOS level 2 starts. And I don't have the code for that one, but once you find one, you should. I think it's 41820.
Yeah.
What's that?
41820. Yeah.
Is it 41820? Okay. So I haven't sent an email out to people again after the 1.0 email that I sent. Let me write the other one down. 41820. Because I'm hoping to get new people who need the class. But there's always people who have taken it before who have taken one and not the other, or who've taken it and can take advantage of taking it again. So anyway, if you think you fit in one of those categories in macOS level 1, we do file management. So for a lot of you guys who are wondering what to do with all the files that are outside, for example, photo files that are outside of the Apple program, that would be a good example. Or whenever people share their screens, John isn't in the class today, but last time he took this class, he shared his screen and I suddenly went, oh, horror, because all his files are on the desktop. And I said, you got to take that one. And, you know, he got it and he went and took that one. So anyway, for those of you who are wondering how the computer works beyond the very basics, go ahead and sign up to these classes. Anyway, there you go. And I have, I'll send an email to, to the whole group now, but in general, since I've taught these in the summer, in fact, I taught this one in the summer 1 and summer 2, there's less people who haven't taken, and I taught it in the spring. But normally I don't teach them this time of year. Normally it's Bruce. But anyway, there's been a change in the requirements and stuff, and I had taught him how to teach him, but I guess he needed like other kind of qualifications, so he can't teach these anymore. So they're kind of falling back onto me. Which is why I'm teaching them 3 times in a row. But anyway, thought I'd let you know. If you think that this would help you in any way, go ahead and sign up. They start next week, next Tuesday, which is October 6th. Okay, so check in the, say that again?
This class has 2 more after today.
No, a few more today. Three. Hold on. I'm counting quite a few more. It goes until October 28th, so we have a whole nother month. 1, 2, 3, 4 more today plus 4 more classes, so we have 5 more of this one. Okay, no, you're fine. We got quite a while to go for this class. We got a lot more to learn. The macOS classes go a bit faster because I teach them twice a week, but yeah, there's a lot in those too. But this one is right now is once a week, and that's why we've got so many more weeks of it. Okay, so there's some noise, some like chatter or radio or something happening in the background there. I'm not sure where from. If anyone who knows that they've got sound going behind you, can you please turn your sound off? Thank you. All right, so we have done quite a bit. I sent you guys some homework. Hopefully you got my email. I gave you some email in class and then I followed it up with a homework requesting that you guys fill up that album that we created in class. And who was not here last week? Who did not? Okay. So when you're not here, for better or for worse, now that we have the recordings, I do hope and expect that you'll make some time to watch the recordings. And I understand that some of you don't have the time, extra time to do that. But if you do, then you'll have less questions or you'll catch up more with what we're doing. So just to remind you guys, the recordings are links that I've created in folders in the handouts folder. So if you don't know how to get to the handouts folder or stuff like that, remind me, I can send you a handout about how to get to the handouts folder. And if I have a video telling you how to get to the handouts folder, but in that handouts folder, there's a file called Zoom recording links, and you click on that and I have them listed by day, so that you can always go and listen to the recording of the class you missed, or if you had to leave early, the last hour that you missed or something like that. But anyway, we made a folder and not a folder, I apologize, totally different. Not totally different. It serves the same function, but in the Apple program of photos, it's called the album. It's not the same thing. It's like not a folder. And in that album, we were supposed to put in photos from your personal library that you're willing or would like to try to work on to make them better in one way or another. So a little show of hands, those of you who managed to put some files in there, give me a little yay or green or raised hand, whichever you prefer, in the participants button, so we can get that one tested out and going. Make sure everyone has that one up and running. And remember, if it takes up a lot of space in your screen, all you need to do is click on the participants button, answer me, and then click on it again to have it disappear, right? And that way you can answer and then not have it flowing in there. All right, so some of you guys did it, thank you. And some of you will have to, when I say, okay, now let's open the photo that we can crop, you'll have to just kind of look for a photo you can crop and open it up on the fly, okay? And let me see if I can put, in case when I'm talking and you guys are aware of whatever it is I'm saying at that point, you can go ahead and fill. I'm going to put the list here in the chat again. That's in the chat that I just put. That's the list of things. And I believe actually in the email, I think I sent put a few more things in the email of things you could look for. This is what I had written in the chat last week, and I have it here. But in the email, I asked you for a couple more things. So anyway, no problem if you didn't do it, because what we're going to learn today is that even if you do make edits on a photo, those edits are always redoable, like returnable. They are, I'm not speaking very fluently here, but they are not permanent. So even if I say, okay, we're gonna change the colors of a photo, and it happens to be a photo that you didn't necessarily want to do that onto, but you didn't have a chance to choose a different one, it doesn't matter, because whatever you do to it, even if we mess it up tremendously, one of the huge advantages of all these editings that we do in this program is that they're always undoable. You can just reset and you're back to the original photo you started with. So in photos, every edit you do, and by edit, we're talking about editing the image. So cropping, straightening, changing colors, adding, retouching, you know, zits on a face or stuff like that. It is all undoable. all resettable. It is all able to be erased by a touch of a button, and you're back to the original file that you started with, okay? That said, if you liked what you were doing and you hit the reset button, you need to do it all over again, because it all goes away. But it's safe. It's not like, oh my God, what did I do to this photo? I've destroyed it. So it's whatever you put in there. It can be good photos and it can be bad photos, photos that you want to fix, but it can be good photos that you want to play around with a bit, because you won't mess them up, okay? It's not permanent. How many of you guys find that you take a photo and you would like to do something more to it? You wish you could fix it. You wish it were more what? What kind of things do you like your photos to be more? Give me an example of a photo that you would have liked to have saved in one way or another. Go ahead and throw out some answers.
A wedding photo.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that you would like to be more or less what, or change what?
It's dark, the flash didn't sync right.
Okay, and the reason I want examples is because I want to tell you what can and what cannot be done. Dark photos are eminently fixable, yes, so that's good news. Other ideas of things that you want handled or fixed, and I'll tell you whether yay or nay. Quite a few of you said yes, I'd take photos that I want to fix. So
I have old photos with like cracks on.
some
Old
noise.
Old photos with
Mhm.
cracks, I guess you call them.
Okay, with crack, like scanned photos. Yeah.
Well,
Or
I guess I took a picture of the picture.
okay, you took a picture, which depending, sometimes it's as good as a scan, depending on the conditions, and sometimes it's not as good as a scan. But if you have a chance to scan in an old photo, you can take the best quality reproduction of your photos, okay? But if instead you take a photograph of it, which is another way of doing it, because in the end, a scan is a machine that photographs it again. But if you take a picture of it, be careful, make sure to have no shadows on it, and your camera has to be perfectly straight on top of it and very still. You know, there's all these things that have to happen for it to be a very good reproduction. Otherwise, it's just a snapshot of a photo, and it'll usually be kind of out of focus and a bit blurry and stuff like that. It's better than nothing. I was at someone's house, and I brought in a photo showing, oh my God, look this picture I took of you when you were la da da. And at that point, the best we could do is just snap a picture of it, and, you know, for the person to take it home. That's great. It's better than nothing. But if you have the photo and you can actually put it in a scanner, or you can actually go ahead and arrange it in the shade, never in the sunlight, with good no shadows and all of that above it to photograph it, that works as well. Okay.
Excuse me, if you I have done that and I'm not right on top of the picture, so the picture's a little distorted, can that be fixed?
Good point. Yes, in Photoshop, not in photos. So that's why I said, tell me what your problems are. And yeah, you can not fix distortions like that in photos. There's so many things you can do, but a few things you have to move on to a bigger, more powerful program. So no, you know what she's talking about, where you've got, where you took a picture and it's looking like that, you know, of something, you can't do distortion.
How about
Diana?
reflections?
Say that again, Owen.
Reflections, I have a lot of pictures taken from inside buses when I'm traveling, and you get a little bit of reflection from the window.
Okay. No, reflections turn out to be part of your photo. Like when you take a picture of a reflection, you can't say, oh, let me take the reflection away, and there's there's in the background you still see the landscape, because as far as the photo is concerned, there is no landscape there. There's only the reflection of the person that's inside, and if you take it away, there's nothing else. So no, if it's like a shiny area though, that's like a shiny area in glasses or stuff like that, that you can still see behind it the person's eyes, that's somewhat fixable. But in Photoshop, ooh, someone has two sound things on. But if it's a reflection where you see you know, something totally different in the reflection, no, that even in Photoshop, you would have to have an image. You can clone, you can choose another part of the landscape and clone it into that area. So depending on the reflection, but no, that's also something that's the realm of Photoshop.
But you could crop it out if it's in the corner.
Oh yeah, you can crop it out. You can definitely crop it out. And you can fix the colors. You can retouch some things that you don't want. So certain things can even be retouched out. You can make things black and white. You can make things be more saturated. You can change, you know, those photos that are kind of getting faded and old. You can bring them back to good color. So we can work with color and tone. Hue saturation is what it's called. All we want inside of photos. What's harder in any program other than in Photoshop, by the way, in any editing program, the only one that does this well is to actually replace things, replace chunks of things. Say that you want a better sky or stuff like that. For that you need a big old, you know, professional program like Photoshop. Which, if some of you find that what you want to do to your photos goes beyond what you can do here, I do teach a Photoshop class, which is kind of midway through right now, but I have another one starting in October. So anyone who finds that what they want with to do to their photos is beyond the possibilities of this program, do take the Photoshop class, which again, you don't have to own the programs. The Apple classes are the only ones that you need your computers. But for all the other programs that I'm teaching, we do them remotely through school software. So you don't need to own Photoshop to learn it and then decide if it's something you want to have for yourself. Okay, so give me a second. Okay, so we're going to be beginning to work a little bit on editing as we continue learning how to organize our files. I find that sometimes organizing our files is something that a lot of people have tons of questions about, and it's in depth. You can do a lot of organizing with Apple. A lot of stuff Apple does for you. We've seen some of those, and then stuff that we can do. And we barely brushed upon that with making this one album. So we have a lot more to go, but I want to intersperse that with getting some stuff done to our photos as well. Sometimes we spend many, many weeks on organizing, and we leave the editing to the end. So I'm going to just add a little bit of that on as we go along. Any questions before we jump in? I see Becky saying, do you need a specific scanner for photos, or any scanner copier is okay? And Pat, should you copy before you correct a picture in Photoshop? Cost, do you need to buy an expensive program? Oh, I answered that one already. So no need to buy the expensive program. Should you copy the photo before you correct a picture? I am gonna, so, you know, I just said that everything is undoable. Like if you make a mess, you can just reset it. So you don't have to copy your image. We call it making a duplicate in photos. But for some things I might want to. So say that you like the photo as is, like you want to have a version of the photo the way it is. You can duplicate it first, create an actual duplicate. So now you have two of it. And then the second one, edit it. So maybe you want the color version and the black and white version. You don't want only the black and white version. If that's what you want, then you would first duplicate it and then make the second one black and white. That way you keep both versions. Does that make sense? But when the photo is a problem, the dark wedding, you don't want the dark wedding. What's the point? You just want to fix it. Then there's no need to duplicate that one. Does that make sense? When you would or not duplicate it. Maybe you have a photo that you want to see the whole group, but you want another version where you crop into a certain part of it. Then you need to duplicate it. So depending on your intention for the image, whether you duplicate it or not. Okay. So thank you. That's a great question. And then from Becky, do you need to buy a specific scanner of photos? No, I mean, if you want the, you know, what they say, what you pay, what is it? You get what you pay for, something like that. So if you want a professional level scan, there are professional level scanners, which cost, you know, hundreds and thousands of dollars, that you wouldn't be able to get done unless you take your photos to a professional level scanning place. But for the most part, just regular printer scanners that you buy at any old regular printer. You guys are in sync. You both, I know you're in the same house and you both put down your coffee at exactly the same time. So, sorry, I'm a visual person and in the middle of, sorry, anyway. Segueing back into what we were saying is that, no, usually a regular scanner that you have should do the job pretty well. Which is better to do to organize, albums or folders? Okay, that's a big question. Both. It's not either or. They perform different functions in this program. Okay, so they're not better or worse. One does one thing and another does the other. So we're going to talk more about that so that you can understand that answer. Okay. But just off the top of my head, those of you who stayed behind when I worked with Charlene's photos last week, how many of you guys were here when I worked with Charlene's photos? At the end, I was helping her. A lot of you guys had talked about iPhoto events, and she had a ton of that. So anyway, and you saw that example, Yolanda. And Yolanda's another one. If she shares her albums, she has hundreds and hundreds of albums. Same with Charlene. She's been collecting albums for eons. She's very organized. She has all kinds of things in albums. But when you get to the point when you have hundreds and hundreds of albums, it's very hard to scroll down hundreds of albums. So then you can start gathering them in albums that are similar inside of folders. So you would make all of your trips to a certain continent or a certain time of the year or a certain series of decades of your life or whatever into a folder saying Italy, and every trip you ever do to Italy goes in there. Or you might say, you know, from 90 to 92 to the year 2000 and all the trips in there. You decide what those, depending on your needs and your way of organizing, vacations with family or work trips or whatever, you organize that into folders that work for you. And then you might put 10 albums in one folder and another 15 albums in another folder. So she has folders for, I'm not sure everyone was here, Charlene. If you have a chance, if you might want to perchance share your screen so I can show people what I'm talking about. That would be really helpful. Charlene, are you there?
Yeah, I'm opening it up.
Okay, great. So whenever you have it ready, just so that it doesn't become such a esoteric conversation, but you'll actually see what she's done where you just make folders. Now, she only has one level of albums inside of folders. You can also create folders that hold 2 or 3 folders. So you could have a folder for all trips, and inside of that have all your folders of trips, and then another one for things like events, holidays, weddings, vacations, not vacations as trips, but moments, Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever you celebrate, birthday parties and things like that. So you could have other folders within folders as well. Or if you're into genealogy, you can have family branches, right? Into one big folder called family pictures, and it's all the old scans. And then you have another folder with just scans of your life now, not the old family pictures, okay? So, okay, so here's Charlene, and notice here to the left where she has a folder called New York Photos. And inside of that folder, she has New York, December 2013, 2005, Thanksgiving, 2010. If you make that side, can you make your sidebar a little bit wider so we can read the whole name? So see how she's going to put her mouse right there on that edge and stretch it out a little bit when it turned into a double-headed arrow? Thank you. So see under New York Photo, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums, okay? So do you mind clicking on a single album on New York 2013, for example, or whichever? So here she has 21 photos in this one. Can you go to the next one? Just click quickly, 1 or 2. Now this one has 11 photos. That one has 8 photos. That one has 22 photos. Now, that way she can distinguish between all her New York ones, but under one big folder called New York. Okay, now can you swivel that little arrow to see how it closes? Click on that little tiny arrow. There you go. It collapsed. When you collapse it, then you have the folder, and on the right, you see each one of the 5 folders. Now, a little bit more cryptic to how to distinguish them. I kind of like seeing it in the sidebar a little bit better. But then if you, can you scroll in general up and down your sidebar to see how many of these folders you have? See how many she has? A ton. Okay. So some of them, like, can you collapse the iPhoto events? Yeah. So she has, no, that's fine. But notice that some of her things are in folders, and then she has some loose albums. So underneath iPhoto events, can you kind of generally point to with your finger a little bit? She got that, all these underneath are not in folders. So either she chose not to put them in folders, or she has yet to put them in folders. Okay. So it could be a choice that some things are in folders and others are not. Maybe she still has photos for a folder called Africa where she's going to go put in Zimbabwe. Maybe she's going to leave it out. But the rest are all folders. Now, what I don't see here is folders within folders. And I don't know if she needs them, but I'm giving an example. If she could make one photo just called traveling or by continent, she might make one folder called Europe, one folder called Asia, Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, one called Africa or something like that. And then put in the corresponding folders in there, and then it would be even less to run through, but just as findable. Does that make sense?
Deanna,
Yes.
I wonder if you could just show us the organization within this column. It looked as if she had an album, and then underneath it folders, and then underneath it photos. Is that what we're seeing?
No, go back. Can you go back to the same one that you opened, the New York one, please? Thank you. She only has one folder. The folder has that little even shape called folder. And a folder is very important distinction. A folder does not have loose photos. There is no photos you can put in a folder. You can only put albums in a folder. So over here, these little squares that you see, they are not photos. They're not loose photos. They are albums. So can you click the little arrow next to New York photos to open it up? When you open that up, each one of these is an album filled with photos. There is not a single photo in here. That is the biggest distinction. When Yolanda said, what it is better to organize, albums or folders, you cannot put photos, loose photos in a folder. You cannot throw loose photos of New York into this New York folder. It's not the same as it is on the file level, like outside on the Mac. Here, you have to organize your photos into albums. And once you get a ton of albums, then you can throw them all into one folder like she did. But each one of these is an album. If you look to the right, you see under each one of these boxes says 22 or 8 or 11. That's how many photos are in each of these little squares. So the little squares, can you actually hover over these little albums so that you can see how when you hover, see how there's, when you move your mouse, see how a whole different set of photos shows up in each one?
Right.
So each one of those you can scroll and see. It's not a single photo, it's a grouping, okay? So it moves when you put your mouse over it.
So why is it above that it says my albums? Is that something that there's like 2 different types of albums? There's one.
No, the my albums.
Yeah.
Can you collapse that, please? That's the one that comes with the Mac that we all have.
Okay.
My albums is the folder where we put all of our albums. That's all it is.
Okay.
You have it. Every single one has this one already.
Okay.
Inside of this, my albums, we all made one the other day together called class photos. But when she collapses hers, she has, Sarah, if you look up there, it says she has 20, it says my albums, and it says 25 albums, 23 folders. Now that means that she's got 23 folders full of albums and 25 albums that are loose without being inside of folders that she can then choose to throw into those folders or not. But in those 23 folders, we know she has many more albums. And if you look over here and to the right, it tells you how many more. So she's got 24 albums inside of Zimbabwe, 4 albums inside of, you know, whatever it says, 2 albums, 4 albums, that's how many albums. Versus Zimbabwe says 24 albums. One to the left, it only says 820. That's 820 photos inside of an album called Zimbabwe. So that is a loose album. On the right, it's a folder that has albums. I'm not sure right now why that Zimbabwe isn't in the Zimbabwe album, her choice, but those are two different things. One is an album full of photos and one is an folder with albums full of photos. Okay. So that first album, now very back on the sidebar again, that holds every album. So now twitch it open again. And there you go. Everything you're seeing here is equivalent to what you're seeing down there. Does that make sense? Not a single one is one's clarity again. Not a single one of these is a loose photo. Loose photos, where do you find loose photos? Photos that she has decided not to put in albums, you'd see up there under photos, and you click on that again, and there you go. These are all individuals. Even if they're in albums or not, by order of date, you can find every single loose photo here on the right. And she probably has many, many photos that she hasn't put into any particular album. But all of those that she has are gathered on the left sidebar. Now, one last thing before I let you ask my question. Please be clear that what goes into my albums is the only part where Apple has no part. It is completely your choice what you put in the My Albums. All the rest are choices it makes for you, like what media type. Well, it tells you here are your videos, here are your whatever. All the other organizations, Apple does it based on date or type of photo. But anything that goes under in My Albums is you and yourself, and no one else but yourself. Okay, ask me your question now.
Thank you so much. Would individual photos that are in photos, they would never be then in an album, is that correct?
Well, if you don't put them in there, no. What do you mean? They'd never be.
Is photos still a complete location for all photos? Or
Yes.
once they're in an album, then are they still not in photos?
They will always be in photos. Always, always, always. So if a photo is in, if a photo exists in your program, you will find it under photos. Can you go back to the big photos choice, please? Under that photos, you will see every single photo you've ever put in your program, one by one, just based solely by order of arrival, or no, order of it being taken, order of the photo being photographed, okay? So you can have 10,000, 20,000, 2,000, however many photos, and photos shows them each one of them. Now, if you stop at an individual photo, say click on one, whichever, a single click, this photo per se might already be in an album or two or three. Maybe she has it in an album of churches. I don't know if it's a church, but I'm saying that. Maybe she has it in an album of a trip to, where is this? I don't know, Greece, I'm inventing. Maybe she has it in an album of vacations with my family. So it could be in 3 different albums, but it exists. It's truly only one photo. This is the part that's hardest for people to get. When you have it in here, so say that there's a photo that's a Christmas photo, right? Say these polar bears. Maybe this is a photo that's of a trip that she did that.
Croatia.
Okay, so that's a photo in Croatia. So maybe she has an album of Croatia. In that photo, she has dragged in here to Croatia, Sarajevo, Slovenia. But maybe it's also a photo she took on a Christmas trip, and she also put it in a photo called Christmas, where every Christmas she's ever had photos of all fall in there. And so that same photo exists in 2 albums. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And maybe she has a 3rd one called My Absolute Favorites. And if that's an absolute favorite, she also has it in a folder of My Absolute Favorites. So you own it as one photo, but you can drag it into as many photos as it applies.
When you scan photos onto your computer, do those photos go into photos?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no. Automatically, no.
Okay.
Sorry, when I said, oh, yes, no. When you scan photos, depending on your scanner, what scanner model you have and stuff like that, and how connected it is, for the most part, they show up as files in your computer, as JPEGs, or depending on what you scan them in, and you have to import them into the Photos app. When you take a picture on your phone, it goes automatically into the Photos app. But if you scan them, what the scanner will give you is a JPEG or a TIFF, whatever you decide the format that you want is. JPEG is fine. And then it's up to you to import them. So I'll show you how to import stuff later.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Charlene, thank you so much. Hang on there. I'm going to read the questions to see if there's anything else, but that was wonderful because you were able to follow along with my request for pointing to things really well, and that was very instructive. Let me look and see the questions you've been asking, and then if not, I'll ask you to ask me out loud. So Yolanda, do you get the difference now between albums or folders and see how they're not a choice?
Yes, I got it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So photos have to be in albums because a loose photo can't go into a folder. It's albums that then you organize with folders. Okay, is that distinction pretty clear?
Yeah.
Is it based on a photo using available light and outdoors? Well, yes, and it depends because if what you want to photograph can't be moved outdoors, you want to photograph your piano, you don't have that option, right? But but if you have the option of moving a person outdoors, that's fine. But if you have a good window with a lot of light streaming in from a window and you're indoors, you might get a better picture of that person than if it's outdoors in the straight sun. So available light is way better than flash, if that's what you mean. But when you're outside under harsh sun, you don't get a good photo anyway. So if you're going to be outside, consider a place with shadow or shady days that people go, oh, today's not a nice day. Those are the best day for the photos. In the sense that if you need to take a portrait or something, you don't have these harsh shadows. But if you go under some shade and don't see in the background a ton of light, that could be a good photo too. Or sunsets, of course, and stuff like that are the best times. So I definitely would say yes in comparison to flash. But then available light can mean so many things, that the wrong light versus the good light, the same exact. Have you ever gone? I don't know. Has everyone been at the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
If you've ever been to the Grand Canyon and you see it at midday and it's like, oh, ho hum, kind of interesting. And then, it's all flattened out because the sunlight's so strong that it all looks like, okay, this could be an interesting little hole in the ground. And then you see it at sunset. It's the exact same thing, but you see the deep shadows and the spaces and the colors and the rocks and the depth. And you go, oh my God, this place is incredible. And all that's changed is a light. So light is very important to choose and to select. It's what makes a photo. I mean, after all, photos are nothing but light. And so the same exact moment in a different light is a whole totally different photo. So yeah, a good photographer follows the light. But anyway, a big window with good light that's, bright light, not sun streaming in, but bright light on your window, and you want to take a nice portrait, you put someone standing in there. You don't photograph the window, you photograph the person, the light coming in through a window. That's sometimes the best light you can ever have. Show you how to duplicate. Yes, I will be showing you how to duplicate photos for editing them. You seem to find folders easier to search with the albums inside. Yeah, so like you saw how many albums Charlene had in her folders. If all those albums were loose and she had Croatia mixed with, Chiang Mai and then tightly like cities from all over the world mixed together, it would be much harder for her. It's easier for her to go to a country, a folder with a label of a country, and inside of that have albums of each city. And it's as much easier to find than if you have all your city names loose mixed up in 200 albums. So yeah, definitely folders are, once you get to the point of having a lot of albums, folders makes all those albums easier to search. Definitely. Pat, it is true that once you delete it from photos, it leaves the album. Yes, if you delete, okay, the photos exist one and only time. You can put it in 20 albums. You can delete it one for one album. It doesn't fit anymore. You used to have it in your favorite photos album. It's become not your so favorite anymore. You take it out of that album. You can have it in 20 different albums, but you have the photo only once. If you actually delete that photo from the program, it disappears from all 20 albums because it's only one photo that you happen to kind of place in 20 different albums. Does that make sense, you guys?
Mhm.
It's one photo. So if you take it out of one album, it stays in 19. If you take it in that one, it stays in another 18. You know, it doesn't matter how many albums you put it in. If you take it out of that album, it leaves that album and not the other albums. But if you delete the photo from photos, it disappears from everywhere. Now, if you delete it, you still have 30 days to retrieve it. And once you retrieve it, it can then repopulate itself into the albums. Once it's gone after 30 days, it's truly gone. So we're going to practice that. So if you delete something by mistake, it's not the death knell. You can just go back and retrieve it up until 30 days of time. All right. Disregard your next one. You got that. Okay. And then Pat, I have folders and albums. Not sure how I created them. Is that in this class? Well, you probably created them if in this class some other time you took it, I'm assuming. Okay. So thanks for all the questions that are written. Anything else you want to say or ask by word of mouth?
Yeah, I never took this class before. I just
Uh-huh.
got it on my computer, but I still don't know how to make the folder as opposed. Or will you be showing?
Well, I
us that?
have not taught that yet. So I
Okay,
have not
that's
shown you
fair
how to
enough.
do that. And all we've
right,
made is one little album. We're going to spend a lot more time in albums,
Okay.
and we're going to make folders. I have just begun to explain with a good example that Charlene had the concept, and yet I have not yet told you how to do it yourself. So,
Okay.
so if you have folders and albums already, and you didn't take this class before, then I don't know. You must have just been playing around and created them, or someone else created them for you. What's that?
I was just smart. Yeah, no, I play around a lot.
Okay, that's great. That's the way to learn. Okay, I think I saw a hand there or something. No, no more questions. I thought I saw someone doing, no, maybe you were just saying hi. Okay, any other questions? All right, cool. When I manage to silence the whole group like this, that means I've really answered a lot of stuff. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start sharing, and give me a quick visual again of how many of you guys are on Catalina. Give me a green yes. And how many of you are on anything older than Catalina? Give me a little blue hand so that I can have a visual again of who's where.
Yeah, we were able to upgrade one of our two to Catalina. And it was funny, we upgraded it and about a half hour later, they had another update to it.
Okay, so thanks for reminding me that. And I did get a few questions because in my email that I sent you, I did send you some more information about upgrading. And the reason I said that is because it's become a little bit of an urgency. If you're going to upgrade, you might want to upgrade before the new big OS comes out, because then your only option will be to upgrade to the big new OS. So last time we talked about it. If you missed the class and want to hear more about it, go watch the beginning of last week where we talked about all these options. But I sent you an email with a link to some information on how to find out which of your apps, your beloved apps, that you will not be able, if you have any, that you will not be able to use anymore. Who followed those instructions and checked their apps? I know this is more of something that would normally talk in the Mac OS class, but some of you guys might take that class, some of you might not. And this is important to any Mac user right now. So I said, I demonstrate, if you see the recording of last week, at the very end, I demonstrated at the very, very end. So all you need to go is scroll to the very end of last week's class. And Annette was asking me, and the last thing I did before I closed up the class was I showed her how to go to the Apple Mac system requirements and then go to legacy software. And that will show you any software that won't work with Catalina. Okay, so it's a simple 3 steps. If you're interested, and I can show you again at the end of today's class, but then you can look at that software and go, oh, that's fine, I have a new version of that, or that's not a problem, I haven't used that in 10 years anyway. In which case, you know that you can, move up to Catalina. But if you have software there that's crucial to you, I always explain a color monitor corrector, whatever, monitor calibrator, to get the correct color on my monitors. And to replace it, it's like $350. And so I've been like reticent to replace it. But it's time to move up to Catalina. So I might have to do one final calibration and finally upgrade my big computer, because I've already upgraded the little one. Because I don't want to have to jump into the newest version. So anyway, go ahead and do that and then decide, and if so, upgrade. And if you did, Owen, you said that you upgraded one of yours. Annette, you said you upgraded yours too, right? You upgraded
Yeah,
yours?
I did.
You did? Okay. So a couple of people emailed me. All right. So the moment you upgrade, instantly there's a couple of updates, because we upgrade to the OS, and then between the moment the OS came up and now, there's already been some updates, which are upgrades is a whole new system. Updates is when there's fixes to bugs or changes. So you'll get 1 or 2 updates every so often, and that's fine to always do. You should always say yes to an update, because it's fixing probably a security flaw or something that's not working. Okay. Okay. Any more questions about that? Nope. All right. So I'm going to share my photos program. I'm going to start with, so right now only 2 people are left, it would seem, in the older version. I see 2 blue hands. Does that mean everyone else is in Catalina? I know some people couldn't make it today, and then try to make it in a little bit later, but I do know that there were more than 2 who were in an older version. So unless you've all upgraded, that's cool. If so, I might be showing a little bit less of this version. Marianne, what were you? You're Catalina, okay. And Marcia, are you, I think you're, Marcia, I think you're in an, ooh, Marcia, I think you're in an older version as well, or are you in Catalina? Marcia, are you there? Okay, well, I don't know where Marcia went. All right, so now I'm showing in the older version. Over here we had the albums, my albums, that someone that I believe Marcia asked. That one comes. You all have this one, and you can expand it or collapse it. And as opposed to the many albums and organization that Charlene had, I only have 2 quick ones that I created last week. Winter Trip, I just gathered a few and threw in there just to show you. And then the one that we created called Class Photos, where we put some photos in there for us. This is the photos. This is the folder that we created to put files in, to play around with in editing. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about albums, and then we're going to do a little bit of editing. So who remembers how we created, I think we've only created albums by clicking on this little plus sign right now, right? At this point from this, in this class. Is that so? Yeah. So we went over to the My Albums and we clicked on this little plus last week, right? I think so. Okay. So when you do that, the albums are going to collect photos that are in the photos, right? So when you do the plus sign, there's two types of albums that show up, plus a folder. Okay. So I don't have much here to put in to make sense of using a folder yet. But if you do, then that would be how you create a folder. You can say plus folder. A folder pops up and you say, for example, I don't know, vacations, right? Now notice this folder holds nothing. Okay, everyone go ahead and create a folder. So go to the word albums, plus, and click on folder. And when you first create it, it comes with its name untitled, and you just replace it with a name. And then you click away. And then if you don't like that name, you can click one more time on the name. Or you can also right click on the name and rename it. And then you can decide that you didn't want vacations, you wanted trips, right? Or you wanted to correct a typo. And then you hit return or you click away and that name gets sealed in. So go ahead and create a folder and give it a name and then rename it to something else. So it's okay. It doesn't need to be functional right now. It's just, these are for learning. So give it any name. Give it my sample folder and then delete it. And then when you finally settle on something, you can call it something you want. But I'm going to call it trips.
Diana,
But if I, yes.
so I saw the plus sign on my albums, but
Yeah.
I cannot find where the plus sign will be on the folder. Is it okay if I just go to the view? No, not the view.
You don't, no, right now you don't want a plus sign on a folder. You want a plus sign under albums.
That's what I saw that, and but you showed something folder, and then there was a plus sign, and you created a folder, didn't you? Or am I?
Yeah, so over here where it says my albums, when I hover over it, it gives me a plus sign. And you click on it, then you select the choice folder. When you let go,
oh, okay,
a folder gets created, and now you call this one holidays. You can create folders. Now, when you click on the folder, there's a plus sign there as well. You can go plus, and you can even put folders inside of folders or albums, but I don't want to go that deep right now when we don't even have anything to put into these folders. So one folder is enough, right?
When that folder comes, when you click on the folder, I think the problem with mine is I have too long. So is it usually at the very bottom?
Oh, yes. For you or Charlene, you have so many albums that your folders are appearing. You need to scroll. You say new folder, but it appears way. You have to scroll to find it.
Oh, okay. That would be the title folder where you will title the folder, right?
Yeah. See, I have nothing here, but when you have so many things like they do that, you know how Charlene had to scroll down?
Yes.
Yolanda's is that way too. So you need to scroll all the way down to go find it to start putting things into it.
All right.
So now I have two folders in here, but notice, and this is the point I'm trying to make, that if I go into photos and I decide, oh, I want to put this folder into holidays. If I try to drag it in there and decide that I want to put this is a photo. This is a single photo. If I try to put it into holidays, it's going to create an album for me. See, untitled album, because you can't put a photo into a folder. You can only put albums. So by trying to put a photo into a folder, it created an album. And it goes, okay, we have an album with one photo. What do you want to call it? Does that make sense? You guys go ahead and try that. Try to go to photos now and grab a photo, it doesn't matter which because you'll get rid of them, and try to put it in a folder this time. And when you do that, it does that in the shape of creating an album for you. And
Oh.
that's not what I wanted, because folders do not have hold photos. Folders only hold albums. So now if I want this to be the beginning of an album, I created an album. So I can say, oh, well, I'll make this be skiing photos. Okay, so then I can select it again, right click one time, or right click rename and call this one skiing photos, right? That's good, that's fine. And if I go find another photo of skiing, if I find one somewhere, I don't know, let's invent that this one's also skiing, then I can drag it into skiing photos, and now I have a photo with 2 skiing photos. But that is an album that holds photos. It is not loose photos. Does that make sense? Now, everything that we've just done, even if I were to delete everything I've just done, so you're free to put any photos in here you want for this example, because once I delete these, it means nothing. The photos will still be there. I've only used these 2 photos. So I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I didn't mean to make this album. That was a mistake. I didn't need it. I didn't want it. So I can right click and delete the album. Are you sure you want to delete the album? The items that are in the album will still be visible in your photo library. And if it wasn't any other album, it'll still be in there. I am only deleting this one album. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I'll go, okay, sure, delete. When I go back to photos, there my photos still are. And that photo that was in another album right there, it's still in that other album, even though I deleted it in the first one, okay? So putting photos in an album doesn't mean anything as to the existence of that photo in here. This is the original ownership of this photo, okay? Always under photos. So in here, if I get rid of both of these folders that I made by right clicking and deleting the folder. Are you sure you want to delete the photo? It's also going to delete all the albums in this folder. So be very careful to delete only an album that has nothing in it or junk in it. But if you delete, if say Charlene now deleted her folder that says, you know, Thailand, she would be deleting 20 albums. The photos wouldn't be gone, but all the time she spent organizing would be like, oh my goodness, hold your head and scream, right? So be careful, because if your folder holds a lot of stuff, you're deleting a ton of organization that you've done. Now, for me, now it's just an album with a photo that I didn't even want. So I'm going to delete it. And if I go back to photos, my photo's still there. See, this is just sub-organization, but the master holder of all my photos is still this photos right there. Okay. And up on top, you can have it under, if you're in a newer version, under months, years, or dates. I'm looking at it in moments so that I can see them by day. But if you see them by photos, it's the same thing. You just have them all one after the other. I kind of like, it seems a little bit cleaner to me to look at stuff when I'm trying to organize.
Deanna, can I,
Mm-hmm.
just a clarification, so you can
Yes.
delete albums and you can delete folders and the photos will remain. But if you delete a photo in an album, the photo is deleted. It's gone.
Nope. No. If you delete the photo in an album, you just said that, the photo is not gone. So see, this album holds these 2 good old photos again. So if you look in photos, there they are. But this old folder has them too. So if I delete it from this album, so say that winter trip, I don't want this photo anymore. So I right click, I can choose to remove from album or delete a photo, and that is 2 completely different things.
Yeah.
So I can remove it from the album, no problem, it's gone. If I look at photos, there it still is.
Yeah.
Okay. So the issue is to not delete the photo.
That's what I wanted
If
you to
you
clarify.
delete the photo and I right click and I delete one photo, the word delete, that is gone.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you this, but then we're going to go through all these steps all together. Okay, so I'm going to delete one photo now, and it tells me, ooh, are you sure you want to delete this photo? Yes, delete this photo. Well, deleted albums are moved to the recently deleted album. You can recover them from the deleted to show your remaining days before it deletes forever. Automatic deletion means forever. So I'll say, okay. So now, for the first time, if I go back to photos, it's gone. That other one that's been here all this time, it's finally gone because this time I truly deleted it versus removing it from an album. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just thought it was important to clarify because I hadn't heard you talk about deleting albums and deleting folders and the photos still remain in the library.
Because when
so
you delete
I think it's
it,
important to distinguish between a photo
because
and deleting a photo.
when you delete a folder or an album, you don't delete the photos. You just delete the organization. So if I were to delete this entire folder, this entire album, these photos would not be deleted. Okay, it's very important for you to understand that if I delete the album, I'm just deleting the organization. I would have to actually delete the photos for them to delete. So I can get rid of all of this and my photos stay. But if I individually click on a photo and say delete the photo, I do that again, it warns me again. Now it thinks I know enough and it doesn't warn me anymore. So over here, under recently deleted, there they are. I've deleted 2 photos. The moment I deleted them, remember up here, a recently deleted show up that wasn't there before because I hadn't deleted anything. So now it appears and I have 29 days left to save it, to recover it. In 29 days, they will disappear. So I never meant to delete them. So I can select it and hit the little recover. And it went back. I can select it and hit recover. So now that I have nothing to recover anymore and nothing deleted, look, it disappeared from here. There's no more recently deleted because I have nothing left in my recently deleted. So now we're going to practice all together these things that I've been saying. We're going to delete some photos, recover them, make a folder. We already made a folder or 2, put some stuff in it, delete it, and remember that everything we do in here will have no meaning to our photos unless we actually click on the words delete photos. But deleting an album, you can do freely. Deleting, oh, by the way, you know how I had deleted those 2 photos? When I go back to Winter Trip, they show up in there. Like they went back into the organization. When I said recover the photo, they put themselves back into the albums. They would, of course, put themselves back into the photos, but they also went back into the organized album, as long as I didn't delete the album. Okay, so let's practice a bit of that. Before we practice, any questions that came up from that I showed you about the albums or the deletions or anything? Nope, okay. So let's go ahead and everyone choose a photo. Now you know that it's not dangerous. Choose a photo that you're gonna delete. So from the photos, go to your photos album, choose any old photo. It doesn't matter which, it really doesn't matter how important or not it is to you because you're deleting it from the master place, from the one place where it truly lives. So right click on a photo and delete one photo. See how it doesn't give me a choice to delete from an album because I'm not on an album, I'm in the photos. Now, if this had been in many albums, it'll disappear from those albums as well. So I'm gonna delete one photo. Are you sure? Yep, I'm sure. Go ahead and say delete. Now I loved that photo, but I'm not in despair because I have 29 days. But the moment I deleted it, I can go back to my, oh, my goodness. Hello, I said I'm not in despair. What happened to my deleted album? Hello, I've never had this happen. Is this the time for me to show you how something did disappear? That's crazy.
Murphy's Law.
Undo, delete photo, I can still do, but where's my deleted albums photos? Oh, how weird.
Deanna, when you deleted
gonna-
that photo, did you right click on the photo in the album?
Yeah, I'm gonna undo the delete photo for it to appear, but that's bizarre because I haven't yet. I'm not in an album. I'm in photos. I'm up here in photos.
Oh, you're
See
in
that?
photos. Okay, okay. Because
So
it doesn't give you an option in the album. Yeah.
I said, make sure to be in photos. We're deleting it from the place. You know what? I just noticed that I've been probably had people in the waiting room for a while. I heard a little beep beep and I managed to ignore it. And I don't know how long they were waiting. Anyway, let me let them in. Okay. So did everyone delete a photo? So if you delete a photo, now I'm inside an album. The recently deleted shows up. You go to the recently deleted, you select it, and you recover it. Now, if you don't want to recover it, you're sure, no, I deleted this one because I truly did not want it. You don't need to wait 29 days. If you're trying to clean up some photos from your computer and you know you really don't want it, then you can just say delete one item again. And I'm not going to do that because I do want this one, so I'm going to recover it. But I'm going to go over to my photos, and I'm sure there's something I can delete that I never want to see again. Maybe something dark. I usually put in something black or so here's a photo I never want to see again. Okay, so I'm going to right click and delete this photo. And wow, something is so weird. When I'm deleting from the main photos, my recently deleted album isn't showing up, which is never done before. What's happening? I have never, ever, ever had this happen before. I'm going to undo that. So what I'm demoing has never happened to me before. It's going and it's not going into the recently deleted photos, which I can't imagine. That's the fail-safe. I'm going to stop sharing because I've been sharing all this time with this computer, and to give you guys a break from the sharing, and then next time I share, I'm going to start sharing from the Catalina one. Any questions?
Yes. In my recently deleted folders, I have a lot because I've been cleaning out duplicates. So if I delete these from recently deleted, these are the duplicates are the ones that'll go away. No.
Whatever you put in the recently deleted is what gets rid of. It doesn't get rid of anything that you left in the photos. So,
okay.
Which, by the way, brings something to mind. Annette told me something amazing, and I don't know. You know how Annette told I told you she updated to Catalina this week after the conversations we had? She shared with me in an email that when she upgraded to Catalina, all her duplicates went away, which is like whoopee. But I don't know why, other than that hallelujah. But a lot of you guys are already in Catalina, so Pat, you're already in Catalina, right? And you still have duplicates?
Yeah, but no, that happened to me last week too. When I updated or whatever you do, and then also what you taught last week, which I love, how you change the date. Like if I have a scanned picture from 1943, I can put those dates in. And when I do it, it seems to, I had some in an album as well as in photos, and it seemed to take care of both of them. you know, I had
Oh
no
yeah,
opinion
because a
now.
photo is one time only. So when you change the time, it changes in all of the places where that, because the albums are just pointers. Like it's the one thing that doesn't have, I usually give examples in the real world, but the whole world of albums is hard to explain in the real world because you can't own one thing and have it in 5 different albums. In real world, if you wanted in 5 albums, you would have to have 5 different photos. But you have to remember that in the world of virtual photography, you can have one photo only exists in 5 albums. So if you change the date and time of that one photo, it'll change the date and time to all of them because they are all one photo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's good to know that you also lost your duplicates. That's really cool. So remember how you're asking me how to get rid of duplicates? Well, now the answer might be upgrade to Catalina.
Yeah, same thing with us when we upgraded and opened up photos. It said it was searching for duplicates.
Nice. All right. Well, you know how last time I told you it's just very hard for Apple to do it, and usually when it's been the problem that when you moved upgraded is what caused the duplicate. So maybe now they found a way to go back and undo the mess they did some upgrades ago when a lot of us got duplicates in our upgrades.
Well, positive that I had upgraded. Also, remember 2 weeks ago I had a lot of weird problems, and I spent 5 hours with Apple on the phone, but and they fixed everything. But they did totally close out my computer and bring it all back, and possibly that's when it happened. So it was all the, I guess, the new updates anyway.
So I want to say, did you hear what she said? They spent 5 hours on Apple. Apple is amazing. I have another student who basically once a week spends time on the phone on Apple, just getting stuff done. They are really helpful. If you call them, they will really help you. Now, remember Annette said that she called them and they basically told her, no, lady, hang up, do it on your own or something. So she got someone who wasn't really helpful. My experience of people is more like what Pat says, that you call for a question and they just do help you. So, you know, you got a bad person, Annette. And if you get someone who's not willing to help you, call again, because for the most part, I've only had to use them once or twice, and they stayed with me until my computer. They called, you say, I'm going to call you back in an hour. They call you back in an hour. I mean, after your computer has finished processing, they really are good. It's only tech support that I don't hate calling.
Yeah, it wasn't 5 hours straight. It was 2 different phone calls. But also, when I was having those problems here in class, I called Apple, and they immediately figured out I had internet, but not a strong internet. And basically, it was our internet down in the street. The wires or something got loose, and they were working down. So Cox fixed that. And then I called Apple back, and then they put it all together. So they diagnosed that too. I had internet, but not a good signal. Is basically what I'm saying. So.
All right. Well, that's really good to hear. That's more what I tend to hear from people. But that's not to say that some are not. Annette's experience last week was bad. That's more unusual for me to hear. So, and her question was when she said, well, which programs do I need to know that won't work to go to Apple? And they told her, oh, well, you'll have to find that out yourself. I was taken aback because my experience, they would have probably shown you exactly how to find out. Someone here suggested ask for someone else or something like that if you find a person who isn't very helpful, because they are probably learning, who knows, or maybe they moved up.
I tried it again with another person, and that person said no as well. So it must be a new policy.
Huh. Oh, well, okay. There is one caveat. They don't help you with things that are not Apple. That's true. So if it's not an Apple program, they just don't want to put their mitts in that, and they go call the people. And so in this case, even though it's an Apple issue that you're upgrading to Catalina, they don't probably want to get involved with the fact that whether to make or not your other programs that are not Apple work, because all the Apple programs work when you upgrade to Catalina. It's programs that are from other developers. So that's probably what's happening in it, that they don't want to help you with other programs, which they won't. Apple, as helpful as they are with Apple stuff, they draw the line. They will not, nothing. If it's another program, then you got to call the other developer, which makes sense. They're not the experts in that. But in this case, the question is, how do I find out what programs would work or not with Catalina? They should have been able to at least show you the same thing I showed you. So that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe you got the same person or their sibling twice, but maybe it's got to do with the fact that it's showing you stuff from other developers. That's my only caveat, because that is really what you're doing. You're saying, what other programs in my computer are not going to work? And as far as they're concerned, you should only use Apple. So what do you need other programs? They don't exist. It's okay if they stop working. So anyway, I don't know. I'm putting words in their mouth, but that makes a tad of sense if twice you were told that they wouldn't do that. So maybe they thought they wanted that you wanted to learn how to uninstall them or something instead of just show me how to find them. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Before I share with my other computer, with my Catalina, any other questions? Have you all deleted a photo and recovered the photo as we were speaking? Have you all found a photo to delete that you truly want to delete forever and then hit the delete? So if you truly don't want it and you hit the delete forever, it goes away. So let me head over to this computer now. Problem with this computer is I don't have a mouse on it. Let me steal this mouse from here. So that I can put it in here. Okay, so now you'll see my back. You shouldn't be seeing my back too much because I will be sharing from this one. Okay, so I'm going to share. This is Catalina now. All right.
Actually, I am having a hard time deleting a photo. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This is Marcia.
Yeah, let me put this up here. Are you in Catalina or in older than Catalina?
Catalina, I upgraded and I'm having some difficulties.
Okay. Go ahead and let me stop my share and go ahead and ask me and I'll see what I can help you.
Okay, well, I'm on a photo. I'm clicking on it, right click, and I'm not getting any response to try to delete it.
Okay, so go ahead and share your screen.
Okey-dokey.
Sorry, every now and then I'm taking a little bite of banana I haven't had.
Oh, again, it's gonna work fine because I've got two screens. I've got a monitor now.
Oh, cool. So when you say share, you need to choose which one is the screen that has your photos selected and then set the single little blue share.
Okay, gosh, I've got something popped up and I'm in security and privacy under.
Yeah, that's fine. Because the first time you share with a new one, click on the little check mark next to Zoom.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Good. And once you do that, you can close and then share again, and that'll let you this time.
Okay, and then it says quit now. Do I quit now? It says Zoom will not be able to record the contents of your screen until it is quit. Do I quit now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. But now I'm getting, okay.
Now go back to Zoom and say share screen again, and this time it'll let you.
Okay.
I know at first it's confusing when you have two monitors for the first time. It's like, wait.
It's tricky. Okay.
It's okay. Cool.
Oops. Can you see it?
Yeah, but what we're seeing is your Zoom screen, your Zoom US. So can you minimize that? Just go up to that and hit the little yellow. And now open up your photos, unless you have it on a different screen.
Yeah, my photos is on a different screen.
Okay, so go back up to where it's the green bar, the black bar, and say new share.
Oh, there.
And then, and now look for the screen that has photos. Click on that and then say share again.
Thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, you can't share, you can't delete from this mode. You have to go back to your small mode. You're in edit mode. So go back up to the little arrow on top that takes you to the small mode. Yep. And now you can right click and delete from there.
So I'm right clicking, which is two quick little taps, right?
No, right. Oh, you're on you're on a what? On a touchpad?
Yes.
Okay, it's 2 fingers down at the same time. 2 fingers exactly down at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And then that is an album, so it's only giving you a choice to remove it from the album. So see at the very bottom?
Yeah.
It says remove photo from album, but it doesn't let you delete it from here. You would have to go from the photo itself to delete it.
Okay, so I'm going to click on another one because that one I would like to do. Remove one photo from album. Then I go to delete.
Well, no, because you didn't delete it. You just removed it from album.
Okay. Okay.
So go to your photos in order to delete. So go all the top to the photos. And that's October 2019. So you can go back if you wanted that one. Or go up. I prefer to see all photos when I go. So right now on the right side, go to all photos. Yep. And then you see every single thing. Okay. And now you can choose one of those to delete and delete forever. But sorry, delete and recover. So go and choose one. Let me just stop for a second. Stop for a second because I want to show something. Hold on. Hold on. Yep. Can you move off of that? Move,
yes.
Don't delete. Move your mouse off. So can you go click again on some white area to get rid of your mouse of your screen? So guys, look at this. She has a perfect example of duplicates.
Yep.
In case you haven't had seen what a duplicate looks like.
Yep.
She has quintuplets. One is on top on the far left, right. It says image422.jpg. See that? That's the one that is on its own on the top right, so to say. And then on the left, she has it again, image422. So that's a duplicate of the first one. But at some point, a duplicate. So the first two that say image422, you see, can you point to what I'm talking about, to the two that I'm saying? That one, can you click on it? That one says image422, and above, that one says image422. See how they have the same name?
Yes.
Those are actual duplicates created by, for example, a program problem, like when you upgraded, because they have the exact same name, versus the other one is image422 2, right? And then you have a duplicate of that one that's image422 2. So those, even so, you know, so there are 4 of them that are duplicates, and then you have one that's image422 3. So you've got original duplicates, and then on top of that, you've duplicated your duplicates. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know.
So you have like 5 I'm seeing of each all the time. So I don't know when. So you're seeing that everywhere. So there's a, you know, there's a way you could try to search for some of these and get rid of them, but that's like 4. So if you want to get rid of all of the ones, you leave only one, then go to the first one that you already have selected.
Yep.
Then hold down Shift, and now click on the image422 3, the last of those 4. Good. Now see how she's got all of the duplicates except for the original? Now, right click on any one of them. And now you can delete all 4 at the same time. You want to delete these items, say yes, delete. Good. So now you're left with only the original. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you have to find. Now, if you go to the recently deleted, though, you can still either delete them or recover them. So go back, go to recently deleted. And there's all 4 of them. Now, if you know that you have the original and you don't need these anymore,
yes,
these would be something you can delete, not wait 29 days. And so go and select one of those, whatever. You can select them all again or just one, but I'm just trying to give the example. And now go over to the right side. When you delete from the recently deleted, you guys, if she now hits delete one photo, go ahead and do that. That one is permanent. Wait. See how it says, are you sure you want to delete the photo permanently?
Yeah.
That one's gone and lost, totally gone and lost forever. And that's now reduced the size of your photo album to one photo less, because when they're sitting here and they're recently deleted, it's just another album with a finite timeline. In 29 days, it'll be gone. If you look down in the bottom row, she has 22 days left on something that she deleted maybe 7 days ago. Okay, so she's got less days left on that one, and so on and so forth. But periodically, they'll keep emptying out, but they don't empty out your computer. If you're trying to make space and you're sure you don't want them, don't leave them in the recently deleted, because they are just another album. Until 29 days go by, they won't be cleaned out. So if you know that all of this is junk, select all and delete all, but make sure, because once they're gone forever. And then you'll have a whoosh load of space on your computer, because all of this stuff will be gone.
Yeah.
Yes, Susanna.
So this is like empty your trash.
Yes, Susanna.
This is similar to empty your trash on the computer. This is, they went to the trash, but they're just sitting there, and you have to click on my Mac. I have to empty the trash. So this is recently deleted. To clear all that is just empty the trash. That's really good to know, because it frees up energy for the computer. That's great. Thank you.
It does. But there's one big difference: the empty the trash, and she's talking about the Mac empty the trash. You can leave there forever, and unless you change your settings, they'll stay there forever. Versus here, they will only stay. That has a built-in timeline, a built-in empty itself. Okay. So you're not safe. Once you've deleted it, you're not safe that forever you can go back the way you can in the Mac trash. You have, not that you're safe, but nothing will delete the Mac trash except for yourself. Versus this will have a timeline of 29 days. But yeah, it does help for you to just select it, get them one more time, and then boom. If you have 200 photos in there, you have 200 photos worth of space.
Well, and also, does that mean that it frees up the phone? Because the phone seems to be where things accumulate and it causes more problems.
Yeah, if she has the iCloud connected, and all her photos are in her phone and in her computer, by deleting them from the recently deleted, you also empty out your phone, because where they're in one, they're in the other. And in fact, maybe it's time to do a little phone show and tell before we take off on a break. Go to your phone, photos album, and see if you can find the recently deleted there.
Wait, Diana.
So,
Diana.
Yeah.
Aspetta un momento.
I'm listening.
So I didn't get to write down the most important thing you have ever taught me, because you said it so fast and I didn't know you were about to say it, because the whole time you've been lecturing today, you've been deleting duplicates. And I mean, that's what I've been doing to, just pass the time. And so you said something about hold down, shift, and this. So can you just give it to me step by step so I can write it down? Per favore.
Thank you. This is something that works for any computer, on the Mac, on the PC, in Word, in Excel, in Mac, in Photos. This is always when you need to delete things that are together next to each other in a row, more than one. So you first click, then you hold down Shift, and then you click on the last one. And everything in between becomes selected. So it's click, shift, click. So you hold down the Shift and you click on the last one. And you could select 3 things or 25,000 things, as long as you select one. Hold down Shift and then one more click to the last one. Everything in the middle will be selected.
Okay, grazie. So, but I thought maybe I heard that you said there was a way that Photos knows which ones are dupes and it will
I no, they when I get to the point where I'll teach you how to do some searches with the find features, and there's a way where she could maybe find something that has a space and a 2, a space and a 3, and only photos that have space 2 written it would pop up. Then you'd know that all the space 2s are copies. Then you could do that. But there's a caveat. What if when you deleted stuff, you got rid of your original and left your space 2? So you have to be careful when you do that, that you deleted correctly. But so it's not something I can teach you right now. I have to lead you to the steps of searching, and then you'll get that answer.
Okay. Grazie.
I'll get there. I am moving my way through all the things I need to teach you, and I'll get to show you how to search things, and then you can do that. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and take a break. It's 10:36, 51, 10:51. We shall rejoin. Does that sound good? Yeah. Okay. See you guys in a short while. I'm going to mute everyone so that if you make noises and stuff, it's fine. So I'm muting everyone right now. Okay. See you guys. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm slowly saying it a few more times to I'm the Pied Piper, calling everyone back from their break. Come on back to your computers. Let's keep working on photos. I wanted to, before the break happened, I was sharing. I'm going to share as you guys show up. I'm going to share 2 things. One, I'm going to show you how to find your deleted photos, recently deleted and stuff like that on your phone. But the other thing I wanted to share is that there's a student in another one of my classes who is offering, he has a second monitor to give away, a flat monitor. So if anyone's interested in an extra monitor, a second monitor, let me know. I'll put you in touch with him. All right, so here's my phone that I've connected. And all right, so I'm gonna click on photos. And down here at the very bottom, there's photos, and then there's the For You and albums. So this albums here, that's the equivalent to the My Albums. See that? That you have on your computer. So once again, at the very bottom, let me see if I can put a little spotlight button on this thing so you can see it better. Down here, you have photos, For You, and albums, and search. So this album's there. Once you click on it, it's equivalent to My Albums. And the My Albums has all the photos you've been taking. If you use my photo stream there, as I scroll over, it shows you other kinds of albums you might have that are made. These are made by the computer. Then you go down to if you have any shared albums that we haven't talked about that yet. Then you go to the kind of albums made by the computer about people and places. And then as you keep going down, you have the media types, the videos, selfies, live photos, panoramas, bursts. So remember that we talked about, this is exactly what we see on our computer, on their media types. If you've taken selfies, you'll have some. If you have live photos or panoramas or bursts, whatever you have. And then you go down into your albums, and here's the recently deleted. very at the bottom. So when you hit recently deleted, there you have the exact same thing you had before. And if you want to see how it says 25 days, 22 days. So this one is warning me you have 1 day left to save this photo. I guess I deleted it 28 days ago. I'm more than happy to delete it again. You just click on it with your finger and you can either recover or trash. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let it be. I'm not, whoa, I stopped my share, didn't I? All right, I didn't mean to stop my share. Share screen again. There we go. Sorry about that. So what I was saying is that I didn't, so over here, I'm seeing the whole photo, and on the bottom, I see on the left, let me turn on mine. So over here, you see delete or recover. Delete or recover, okay? And you can delete or recover any of these. And if you don't, if you choose to wait all the days that you can, you hit this little arrow, you go back, and then there's where you see the whole thing. Okay? You can also hit the select up there, click select, and then it gives you the choice, and you can say, well, I'm ready to delete, I'm ready to delete this one, and this one, and this one, but I'm not ready to delete the other ones. So then you've selected which three. Oh, so that's my alarm to return to class. And then you go down and hit delete. If I'm ready to completely delete this, which I am, then I hit the delete right there. Are you sure you want to delete these 3 photos? This cannot be undone. This will be deleted forever and ever. You say, yep, delete 3 photos. And this is how you use the delete recently deleted from the phone. Was everyone able to do that or follow that? Any questions? Before going to break, I muted you all, so if someone is trying to speak, your sound is off. So go ahead and turn your sound on again to speak to me or to say yes or no or whatever you want to say. So any questions there? No? Okay.
I had written you a question because I'm not sure if I'm ahead of you. About
I haven't checked questions since I left, so let me see. There we go. I have holiday. I have holiday albums and just made a holiday folder. So how do I merge them? Is that your question?
right, I just made that folder with you, but I have over the years just say all Christmas or whatever.
So you have albums already that say Christmas or stuff like that?
Yes.
So you want to put them all inside of that folder? Merge is different. Do you want to have one big album? All your photos of holidays, or do you want to put one folder called holidays and then have all the individual albums inside of it?
The individual albums, because they're
Okay.
by year.
Got it. So then you don't really want to merge them. You just want to mix them. So anyway, let me disconnect my phone. By the way, before I leave the phone, any other question people have regarding photos before I leave? Regarding how to find the recently deleted in the photos app on your phone? Nope. Okay. Stopping my share. All right, so I'm going to share again. I'm going to share from the Catalina version this time. I saw some other questions. Let me see what other questions you've been writing because I wasn't looking. Okay, Yolanda has a good question. She says, after 30 days, will it remain in the time machine? And yes, if you are doing time machine backups, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I teach that in the Mac OS classes. But if you're doing Mac time machine backups, then if you go back to the photos as they were past 30 days, the photos will be there, yes. So the time machine is your final safe haven, so to say. So yeah, that's good. Good question. And then there's a couple of, there's a couple of personal questions. So I'll answer Marcia and Suzanne. Suzanne, yes, if you're still there. And Marcia, yeah, anyone who has a question that I want you to answer later or something like that, you can say till the end of the class and I'll stop the recording and we can talk. There's something else I said I wanted to show you at the end of class. What was it? Well, I think it was more about how to check on your apps for the Catalina upgrade. Okay. I'm thinking that was it, what I had said. Okay. So here on the left side, in this computer, I only have albums. I don't have any folders, see? So the example I gave you before was in the other computer. So I'm gonna make a folder again. Make a folder and call this one, I don't know, sample folder. Just to show, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Let me actually get that name typed correctly. So if this is a folder for, well, let's just call it holidays, since that's the folder that you're asking about, holidays. And if you already have many albums that are holidays, let's assume, let's invent that this is a full, you know, so by the way, I can move this one around. I can grab this folder and move it to the top if I want. See how it shifts like that? Wait until, so I can maybe put it at the very top up there, maybe under the class folders. I can have it more handy. So say that this one here is, this one is a holiday album, right? So I can just grab it and throw it into holidays. See how I just wait until, see, when you move it, you wait until the holidays, the folder that's gonna hold it opens up, and then there it is. So this is because Pat has many different albums for holidays. Make a folder, now grab the next one, big changes, throw it in there, grab the next one, throw it in there. And that way you get to put all your different holidays into a folder of holidays. Now these aren't particularly holidays, but I'm talking to the fact that Pat already has albums of holidays. Does that make sense, Pat? Is that your question? And then if you don't want it in there, you need to physically take it out by dragging it out and dropping it back into my albums. And then it goes loose again, okay? So you just put it, like you have to wait until the blue line, well, maybe you can do it down here, goes out somewhere over there, and you take it out. So, sewer, oh, wait a minute. Why did it make a copy of it? All right, something weird is happening here that has never happened before. I've not done this on Catalina. I'm trying to take it out of there, and it made a copy of it, two of exactly the same, which I certainly don't want. Well, maybe I make a copy of it by putting it out there, and then I have to delete it from here. Right click and delete the album. That's bizarre. So I've put them back out there. I can right click. Oh, sorry, my right click doesn't work on this computer automatically. I just moved a mouse here. Hold on. I need to fix the right click for this computer. There we go. All right, so I can right click and delete it from here. And let's make sure that the copy doesn't, no. Copy deleted. How bizarre. See what's happening? I'm trying to take it out and it's putting it out there, but it's keeping it in there, which is definitely not something I was counting on. It's never, let me just start this Photos app again. It shouldn't be functioning that way. So let me start my app again. Two things now today that I've shown that are functioning strangely. not the way they have always shown. Okay, see now it's fixed. I did take them out. Something was off because when you take something out, it should take out. See how now it's empty? So let me try to put something in there again and let's see if now it works to take it out. Yeah, now it goes out. So what was just happening was not right, but I know what's right and what's not right. So I was able to go, no, that's not right. That's not how it should be working. So my solution, I closed the program up and opened it again. Okay. So that took care of that problem. I should have thought about that in the other computer when I was doing the weird thing too, but I did it here because when you take something out of an album, it should stay out. So, so now it's working. So now and then you have to restart a program for it to work well. If something bizarre is happening. Now, when you're new to the program, you don't know what's normal and what's weird, and I do. So I knew that something was wrong. Anyway, now it's working. So now if you put something in here, you should be able to take it out again. See, it empties as easily as it fills up. And then I can get rid of the folder or not, if I want it or not. Okay, so if everyone tried putting folders into albums into their folders and then taking them out again. So every time I do something, you need to do it yourself as well. I get to the point where I'm explaining things, but I'm expecting you to do it so that then when you do it, you'll go, oh, wait, it's not working for me. And then you have a question. If you just watch me, you won't run into problems. You'll go, yeah, I get it. It's when you try to do it that you'll run into the problem. So I need you to try to do that so that you'll run into a problem and then you can say, well, when I did it, and then we'll troubleshoot your problem. Okay. So everyone in that folder that we've made, go ahead and grab any of these albums that we made and throw it in there. So grab a folder, grab an album. We've only made one, the class photos, or two, but some of you have more. Put it in there, wait until the folder changes color, and then take it out again by, wait, see that blue line? Wherever that blue line is that you put it, let it go. That's where it'll show up. So if you want the holidays to be lower, you can drag it until the blue line goes there. And you want this other album to be lower, you move it over there, and so on and so forth. You can control. These aren't by alphabetical order. These are by you moving them around. Okay. So yeah. Any questions about folders and what they hold and how to move things in and out of them?
Yeah, I don't even know what, I'm so simple-minded, I don't even know what a folder is. I don't even know how to cut and paste. So, I mean, can you do a screen share to even see, like on mine, like what you did to Pat? Like,
Do a screen share, for you to screen share on yours, you mean?
yeah.
So I'll stop my share and you can share your screen if that's what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead.
So I click that green thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, are you seeing it now?
Nope.
Oh, I have to click share, right? Okay.
You have to click share as well. Mm-hmm. There you go. Okay.
So,
so here you have, or you're one of the ones that has the iPhoto events things there. So let me go ahead and I'm going to request remote control. So can you say yes to that, please? Open system preferences. And when that opens up, and maybe it's opening up in another, here it is.
yeah.
Now scroll down. The little window, scroll down. The window on the right. Yeah, scroll down there. Now click on the plus, click there on the, no, sorry. Yes, click on the lock to make changes. There you go, put in your password. Perfect. And now go to the left of the Zoom and check mark. Perfect. Now you can close this whole window. No plus, just close the window. The whole security and privacy window. Good. Cancel that. I don't know why you're opening something, so say cancel to that window. Yeah.
I don't know. That's what happened.
Yeah. That's okay. Now you're able to, now you've been able to give me control. Okay, so I'm
Oh.
gonna go ahead and open this a little bit more so that we don't get confused with what's happening underneath. And I'm gonna go here and make this a little bit bigger. I just went into your sidebar to spread it over so we can see. Okay, so here are the albums that you have. You have one folder that was created for you, which is that iPhoto one. And if you open it up, look at how many albums are in there.
I didn't even know I had albums.
Exactly.
I've never created an album ever until I took your class. So you're saying these are all albums?
But these are the ones that were created for you by iPhoto. Okay, remember I said that when you switch from iPhoto to Photos, what iPhoto did is everything it used to call events, it turned into albums.
Oh,
So this was done by iPhotos when it's upgraded to Photos. Okay, so it created by dates albums. And so if you go and click in March 27th, you have photos of March 27th, 2015, March 26th, photos of 2016, March 26th. So that's how they're just by date. Now, at some point, you do have some here that have names. So you or someone at some point had to give it these names because this didn't appear out of nowhere. But this could have happened so many years ago. I mean, these photos are from 2013, that it's possible that you don't even remember that you did at that point do it. All of this was set up for you by Photos when it transferred from iPhotos to Photos. So you have no doing in this, okay?
Would you consider that a folder then? That's
this is a folder. See the little shape?
Yep.
That is the shape of a folder, that little kind of manila folder thing that we call. That is a folder. It holds albums. And when you open it, it's holding 259 albums. Look at that. Every one of these is an album. This one has 19 photos in it. This one has one photo in it. This one has one photo in it. So normally you wouldn't make albums with one photo everywhere. But that's what Photos, when it grabbed everything from my photos, that's what it did. This is the same date, and it's one photo each. You have one album for this one photo and an album for this one photo. So these albums made by iPhotos are kind of bizarre. So ignore them for now. When you have time, like Charlene was going back and fixing them yesterday. For now, all that matters are the ones that you have here that you have created. Now, if I'm going to be using the mouse, you need to let go of your mouse. Otherwise our mice begin to fight each other.
Sure. Yeah,
No, that's okay. So now, do you remember making any of these in the last few days?
I've made those since I've been in your class. I have learned how to do that, and I'm practicing thanks to you.
Perfect. Great. So then these are albums that you've created. You might see how at some point you might get to the point where you have way too many albums. So you might need to create your own folder to select them. Now, right now I'm seeing Thanksgiving, Roma, Newport. The only thing I find, maybe if you have places like Newport is a play, this is a place. And so you might want to put them in, if they're trips, put them in as trips. So you might want to put an album. You don't normally need, if you're going to start making a lot of albums, that's when you start needing folders. If this is all you're going to do, you're fine. But if you're going to make one, then go over here, and I'm going to let you do this now. Go ahead and press this little plus sign there. Yeah, and make a folder. No, not another album. That's fine. You made one, give it a name, I don't know. But make a folder this time. Good. And now call that one travel or trips. I don't know. You can then change that. Call it trips.
Okay.
Okay, hit return or click away.
Oh, return.
Okay. And now you can grab the for example, the Roma one. Click on it and drag it into trips. When trips changes color, there you go. Let go. Perfect. Now grab, you have Newport 74. You can grab that and drag it in there.
Well, I actually lived in Newport in 1974.
Okay,
That's
so it's not a trip. Okay.
Chris
See, but
Everett.
the,
He actually was there playing tennis on the ground.
oh, how cool.
Yeah, I was
How cool is that?
but a trip. The Denver to Cape Cod, that was a trip, so we could do that.
Okay, drag that one in there. All right, and so in the future, as you make more albums that fit under trips, you can drag them in there. And then you might have, like, you might want to have a folder for all photos from when you used to live in Newport, but you have different ones, or, you know, so how you organize them depends on each person has their own. The only thing I would do here is I would move this up to a more prominent place, and then whichever place it might be, but just above the iPhoto events, in the sense that the iPhoto events, you have to go through yourself. You need to click on that and slowly begin to go through them and see if any of these make sense. This is 11 photos from Munich. Is that worth putting in trips? Go ahead, then drag it into trips, and then you've already got another trip there. Or do you want to join all your different Germany ones and call it one big Germany trip? In which case, you put one trip under trips called Germany, you know. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do with iPhoto events. But for now, I'm sure you have a lot of other photos that you can start organizing even beyond the iPhoto events. So it's up to you. You can say, okay, this March 27th is nothing. It's not worth an album. You can just delete the album, and the photos will remain, but they won't be in an album. Or you want to say, this is, excuse me, Joaquin, I'm teaching. Or you could say, this is a photo of a special moment for you. I was flying on my honeymoon. I have no idea. So then it matters, right? So then you want to keep it. You want to right click and give it a name that makes sense to what that moment was, right? So it's your choice what you want to do with all of this. It's been organized for you by default. You can keep some of them or delete others. If I decide to delete this one, all I'm deleting is the album. The photos will stay. If you go to March 2015, the photos will be there, but they won't be organized in an album.
Thank you. Okay, so can we just go back one step, because I want to practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say that I agree with you that we should do a German album. Is this the rule where I push down shift in this first one, and then end at Innsbruck, and now I let go. Do I let go?
Yeah.
Okay, and then grab one, and should I make the German first, or should I? Because I have to have a place for it to go, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You first need to make your. Let me see if you can make a folder now. Let me just try. No, you have to wait. You first need to make your folder. So first, go up to my albums up here again, up to my albums, right there.
Oh yeah.
At the up above. Keep going up with your mouse. My albums. The folder that holds all your albums.
Copy.
Where's your mouse? I don't see your mouse. Yeah, that one.
Copy.
Give a little plus sign. Oh, thank you.
Okay, folder. See, I already forgot this. In
That's
5
fine.
minutes, I've already
Call it Germany.
And then see, return. Okay, then we go back to photos.
You had them under iPhoto events.
iPhoto. Oh, here.
It's that pre-made.
Wait! Don't tell me. See, I've already. Oh, okay. I got it. Okay, and then so then we're gonna go to the first one.
I'm hoping, by the way, that all of you guys are finding stuff like this in your photos that you could be working on, equivalent to whatever. When I'm showing something to one person, I want you to do the equivalent on your own, okay? So then make your own photos or folders. Drag them all into Germany. Yep. Yeah, perfect.
Wow, thank you.
There you go. So now that Germany folder, though, you can leave it there, that you open and close, and you have your Germany folder, or you have one more step. You could take this Germany folder and put it under trips, and so you have a folder. So this is the one I hadn't shown yet. Everyone pay attention in case you tuned out. So he made a folder here, and this folder has, can you let go of your mouse so that we don't fight mice for a second? Okay. So in this Germany folder, he has 13 individual different cities or places in Germany that he went to. Now, it can stay as Germany, but he also has a folder called trips with Rome, okay, and then Cape, so I don't know.
Oh, that's Denver to Cape Cod.
Okay, so Cape Cod. So now what you can do is you can have a folder called trips with Rome and Cape Cod, and another called Germany, or Germany could be inside of trips. So I could grab Germany, drag it, put it inside of trips. So there's a folder called trips. When you open it up, you have Rome, Denver to Cape, and Germany, which happens to have a whole bunch. So for Charlene or Yolanda, this would be the extra step you guys can take. You can have, like Charlene has so many trips individually set into folders. Maybe you can organize them by continents or by decades or by reason for the trip and subset. So then in the end, you can scroll up and down a bit more easily amongst your stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Especially for Yolanda. Yolanda, you have a ton and ton of them. And beginning to put folders within folders would be good. So you can have like that, like I just did, or Leon just did for himself, where he put a folder with 11 albums into the folder called trips. Does that make sense?
Yes. Just one question, Diana. When
Yes.
I was doing that, you know, when you were showing Leon how to, you know, where you insert something, sometimes it is resistant. When I'm dragging, they resist going in there, like they bounces. I wonder what if I'm doing something wrong.
It means it's already there.
Oh,
so
okay.
I just stopped my remote control. Let me request remote control one more time. Can you say okay to that? Hold on. Can you say okay again, Leon, to my request for remote control? So say that, because I just had stopped it because I was about to stop. Okay.
Yolanda, sorry.
No. So now let me show you one more thing. So Roma, we know, is already in trips. But maybe Leon isn't aware at this point, so he tried to put it back into trips again. And when you try to do that, it's just gonna bounce out. Or say that you're looking at photos and you go, oh, this one should be under Roma. So you drag it into Roma and the photo just goes back. See that? Y'all watch, did you see what happened? I tried to put it in there, but it bounces back. That's because it's already there. So say that you're in, let me look at this photo. It's, what's the date? You go back into photos. And if this photo, I'm gonna just get rid of it later, but if you try to put it into Roma, it's gonna go in because it was never there. But if I now try to go and put it in there again, it just bounces out. Did you see the difference, you guys?
Okay.
It's already there. If I drop it off and you see it go back, it means it's already there. So if I go there to Roma, I'll go, oh yeah, there it was. And it actually shouldn't be there. So I'm gonna remove it from the album anyway. But that was for me to show you how, why two? It's only one item.
This one has to go too. That's not Rome.
What's that?
This one is San Francisco. I don't know how that got in there. This top, but that.
Yeah, you're using your mouse and I am too, and we're fighting. That's okay. That top one, yeah, go ahead and remove it then. You know what goes and what doesn't go, I don't know. Go ahead and remove it from the album. Yeah, and
Okay,
then go ahead and then let's go and remove this one too, but I'll let you do it since you.
And then this one is a rock concert.
That's the one that I just tried. Okay.
And then can we go back one more step? I found when I was teaching school down in San Diego, I swear I saw a duplicate of.
Actually, can you not scroll around before you ask me your question? Stop 1 second, please, because I want to say something about a photo that's here in front of us. Oh, okay. Owen, you asked about reflections, Owen. I don't know if you guys can see, but down here, see these two photos of the Coliseum, I guess? See how there's reflections on it? You probably shot it from inside the window, a tour bus or a car or something. See that?
Totally.
So that's in the photo. You can retouch some of it to make it better, but you can't get rid of it. If you do, I mean, you'd have to eliminate something that the camera photographed, right? There is a way in this kind of a reflection to clone out and hide it, but it won't never be as good as if it were the real photo. So you can hide some effects of that, but for that, you're going to need Photoshop. You're not going to be able to do that here. I just wanted to stop that because I saw a perfect example of the kind of reflection that isn't fixable. So that's all. So can you say whatever you were saying about teaching in San Diego?
Okay, so like 2 or 3 minutes ago, we were, I don't know where we were. I think it was probably one of the albums that iPhotos made.
Yeah.
It showed all of my students, but I noticed when my mouse went under it, it looks like there's a complete duplicate of, yeah, and then, let's see, these are albums, right?
These are albums, and some of them you have duplicated, yeah. Sorry.
It was, how do you know?
Well, here you have temps for tops, and then you have temps for tops 1. So it would seem that they're not duplicates. They have different stuff in them. So I don't know. iPhotos made these for you, not you. So what's in here might not be completely right. The ones that have names you made, but the ones that have dates, iPhoto made for you.
Yeah.
So here you have 18 August 1 and 18 August. So
it was 2009 because it was right before my mom passed. She actually waited. She waited to die till I finished teaching so I could fly back to Providence. So 209.
Oh, there you have some 209s back there. Those two.
See, those are misnumbered. That's another thing you've got me doing is I'm accurately, these are all wrong dates. These are 1970s.
Because these are scans or something, yeah. Okay, so listen, I want to be able to help people with their other photos. When I see something that I am teaching that exists that you're sharing, I keep sharing. But if it's a personal question, stay behind and ask me about these duplicates and stuff because I'm not teaching duplicates right now. Okay, so keep that question in your brain and then ask me.
Thank you.
At the end. Okay, so I'm going to stop remote control, and can you stop your sharing, please? Go to the red button. Perfect. Okay, so guys, there's a lot to unpack there for you guys to do as homework. I want you to create more albums, okay, with appropriate photos, and see if you can create a folder that makes sense for those albums. So maybe start looking for photos from the holidays. Maybe you celebrate Thanksgiving every year. So go and make 2 or 3 different Thanksgiving albums. The album of Thanksgiving 2019, Thanksgiving 2018, Thanksgiving 2017, and then make a folder called Thanksgiving and put all 3 of those in there, right? So even if later you want to get rid of it because Thanksgiving is not an album you care about keeping, do it as an exercise. Find something that you can do 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 albums of, and then make a folder to hold them all in. Okay, so that's a homework for this week, to try at least to create 2 folders, but the folders filled with some albums that are appropriate to that. So maybe it's trips, vacations, seasons, weddings. Maybe some people have photos of weddings where the whole event is a folder because it's called wedding, and inside of the wedding you have photos of the ceremony, photos of the reception, photos of the what are all those things that happened the night before, the dinner the night before, the engagement. So maybe you have different events all part of that wedding. So then each one of those is an album, and then the wedding is the folder. Does that make sense when I'm talking about folder versus albums? So find something in your photos that makes sense. I kind of go back to holidays because pretty much most people tend to do Thanksgiving, and that would be a good example. But maybe you have your own set of I remember in Marcia's photos, she had a wedding there. So that triggered the wedding thought. Or traveling. Like Germany has many different cities and one folder called Germany, like Leon just did. Go ahead and find 2 subsets that you can do for homework. And then as you do these, questions arise, and then you ask me your questions next week. Now I want to segue into doing a little bit of editing. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of editing on a photo so that we can start doing some of that. I'm going to share my Catalina version of photos. Okay, so here I am, Catalina. And I'm going to go into the class photos that I said, let's put some photos in your class photos that you're willing to work on. And I put some samples of HDR here that I'll show you later, but let's go ahead and find a photo of something that the color is off. Maybe it's too dark. And I chose this one. So do you have any photo that you found that it shows up a bit too dark, darker than you'd like? Find a photo that's too dark. And if you didn't put it yet in class photos, then go find it from anywhere else. Now, I know this one's too dark because it's supposed to be snow, and snow is white. So the fact that it's kind of grayish tells me that it's too dark. Okay, so I'm going to work on this photo. But you all have to pick your own. Now, when you pick it from here, it's kind of small. And for people who like to see this portion a little bit bigger, there is a choice to go here in this slider and make things a little bit bigger. Now, if you want to see it really big, I'll show you a different, there's a different thing, but you can make things a little bit bigger here so that if you have a ton of photos, it takes more time to scroll up and down, but when you just have a few, you can see them a little bit better. It's your choice. If you click here, you can kind of go through 3 steps. Middle, big, small, middle, and big. Middle and small, middle and big. Or you can just slide it to somewhere in between. Okay, I'll even bigger to show you how come I chose this one. As I said, this is snow. But if I want to see it up closer to see if it's ready, then I can just hit the space bar. Once I selected it, hit the space bar, and it's going to fill my screen. Okay, hit the space bar, and it's going to go down again. So go ahead and try that. Choose something that you think you want to work with, and then hit the space bar. I'm going to make my screen a little bigger. There we go. So there we go. Hit the space bar. And I go, yeah, this is definitely the one that I want to work with. Okay. So from spacebar up, spacebar down, from here, if you want to work on this image without the spacebar to make it big, you have to double click it. So if you don't want to do the spacebar, double click and it gets big. Okay. Double click and it gets small, double click and it gets big. So double click small, double click big, or spacebar small, spacebar big. It's exactly the same thing. Try both. Try double click to go up and down, or try spacebar to go up and down. Some of you guys hate the double click. Well, then use the spacebar. Some of you guys love the double click. You use the double click. Whichever is easiest to make it bigger. Once it's bigger, you can look and see, well, do I have the requisite, focus and other stuff that I want in this photo? And I can see pretty much every little snowflake here. So yeah, I've got good focus. So I'm going to go ahead and spend some time trying to fix the color, or in this case, it's not so much the color, but the lighting of this photo. So did everyone find a photo that they want to work on that's too dark? Yeah, I'm going to clear my answers, and I want everyone to give me an answer there if you've all been able to find a photo. And if not, open any photo, even if it's not too dark. Just choose a photo that we're going to work on to change the saturation, the light. Okay, so now in order to work with this photo, you can decide to try the luck of the gods of what photo will do with it automatically. And if you like it, good. And if you don't like it, then you do it by hand. So when I call the luck of the gods is once you have it big here, certain, let me see if I can put a little spotlight on my mouse. Here we go. So a set of icons appeared over here that are new, that weren't there before. Look at this one. I go down and this photo, instead of seeing it big, I'm seeing the I for information, share, make it a favorite, rotate. So those are all there. But when I hit the space bar to make it big, these two new ones appear. I see edit on the far right, which would be me by hand doing something. And then I see something right next to it that is kind of like a little magic wand. Ding, you know, a fairy wand. If you hover over it for a second, the tooltip says auto enhance. So you can give that one a try. If the computer knows what this is, it might do a good job. So I'm going to hit auto enhance first. What happened? Did anything happen here?
I don't have a magic wand. I've got the eye, the share, the heart, and the rotate, and then it goes into search with a magnifying glass.
Did you, are you in Catalina or in?
Yep. Latest and the greatest.
Okay, either way, this is on both. So that question didn't really make a point. So once you made it big like this, you don't see a magic wand there? You first have to make it big. So if you have a small icon, you have to either double click or hit the space bar.
Okay.
So you first need to be isolating it. Then you would see the little magic wand and the edit. Do you see it now?
I do now. Thank you. Now, but
so you have to enter edit mode.
It says it turned red, but oh, I have to click the edit next to it?
No, I haven't clicked edit yet. All I've done is the enhance. So if you click on enhance, look at my screen. I don't know if you can tell. It's very subtle in my case, but when I click on it one time, a little shift happens. And when I click on it another time, so you can see a bit of a shift happening, but it's not getting radically better. On the other hand, depending on your photo, some of you might have gone like, whoa, that was awesome. I heard someone say that. Pat, didn't you say, whoa, that was awesome? So Pat, the auto enhance sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. It doesn't work well in a photo of snow. See, the computer doesn't know this is snow. It just sees a bunch of white and goes, whoa, there shouldn't be that much white. Let me balance this. So it's trying to balance these tones because it doesn't think of this photo as a lot of snow. So this is not a photo that the auto enhance can help. I'm gonna have to go into the hand edit mode. But on the other hand, I'm pretty clear that Pat opened a photo that did get enhanced by the auto enhance. Do you want to share your screen so we can see your example? Pat, I'm going to stop my share. And I want you guys to see different examples of what is possible. Sometimes the auto enhance is hit and miss. Sometimes it's awesome and sometimes it's like, meh, not so much. So,
okay, so that's the picture. That's when I enhanced it.
Okay, you're not sharing your screen yet though. So can you hit the share screen button and then, yeah, share again.
Now
okay, so here's the photo. And is this before or after enhancing?
That's after.
Okay, so now, wait, oh, where was it? Go back to it.
Where is it? It's right here somewhere. Let me move it all over. Come on.
Scroll down.
Come on. All right.
You're from Massachusetts or Rhode Island, aren't you?
That's right. I can't find my picture in here though.
Well, if you can't find it, I can't find it either. Go hit the little arrow on the top left to see if you can go back to where you were. Click on that arrow.
No.
Maybe, did you perchance delete it when you're showing it to us? Go to recently deleted in case you hit the delete. I don't know what happened there. You were working on it? Nope.
Nope.
Well, I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. There it is.
All right. So,
So select it and make it big. Double click or hit spacebar, whichever your favorite choice was. So this is
and
after enhancing. Go ahead and click on it again because it does and undoes. Click it again.
click on the enhance. Oh, I'm sorry. This is enhancing it.
Okay. So look at the difference. Click again.
Oh,
That's
it's like that.
before. Look at that. Washed out, guys. No color and enhance. So you
Uh-huh.
think the auto enhance did a good job for her?
Yeah.
Pretty miraculous, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
the photo isn't high quality, and yet we managed to get much more color. Her skin, look at the before. Do the before again. Her skin is like gray. Her colors are all pastel. It's a photo to trash, other than that it's a beloved person. You hit the enhance, and it's a photo of the beloved person that looks much more like that beloved person, right?
Right.
So some of you guys have a good or a bad experience with enhance, but you, as I'm showing you, you can click that button on and off to see before and after, before and after. So go ahead and do that. Thanks for sharing, Pat. That's awesome. Go ahead and stop your share. Anyone else who has a good or bad example, but a good one, in case some people like me don't have a good example? Anyone else who found a photo that really got helped?
I just have a mediocre example. I see some improvement, but not much.
Okay, go ahead and show.
Okay, share again. Yes, start screen. So here it is unenhanced. Can you see it, Deanna? Oh, sorry. Guess
No, you need
not.
one more share.
Okay, sorry.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Yep. Okay.
Perfect. So this is before?
Yep. And here's after. Oops, didn't go. Sorry. Wait, there it is. That's better.
That's the after. Cool.
No, before.
That's before.
After. Yeah.
And this is after. You guys see how much more color, how much more, basically mainly color is what got changed here. A little bit of saturation. See how much better it got? Okay. So the first thing you should always try is the auto enhance. Maybe it does the job for you. Now, maybe it does a good job, but there's more you can do. Or maybe it does nothing, like in mine. It didn't know what to do with snow. So if you need to go ahead and say, well, I want to do more, then you hit edit, and then you have choices that you can move on your own. Okay, so go ahead, yeah, hit edit, and see how she hit edit, and you enter into a whole different mode. Your whole screen goes black, and on the right side and on the top, you have a whole new set of choices. I'm gonna use your screen for a second. I'm gonna request remote control so I can point to things. You'll do the work, but that way I can point.
Sure.
You said okay to that? All right. So over here, the first thing I want to show you so you don't worry is the choice to revert to original. So if all the choices you made you don't like, you can always go back to the beginning. Remember I told you you're not stuck with any choices. No matter what you do to this photo, you're not stuck with them. So I'm going to do the worst thing I can think of to this photo for a second, really quickly. I'm going to go crop this photo to the point that I'm left with only this person's shoe. I'll show you how to do this later, but that's really a bad thing to do to this photo, right? Come on, that's the word. I can't imagine.
Right.
Beloved people from whom you only see the shoe. Okay, so I go and I'm done and I leave. And 10 days later, I come back and I look at this photo and I go, what happened? Oh my God. Or 2 years later, I didn't mean to do that. So you open it up again and you hit edit again and revert to original. And there it is. Okay, so even your worst thing you can do is reversible. And there's many other things you can do. All of it, if you hit revert to original, it's done, it's fixed. Now you will only see revert to original if something has been changed. So say that you didn't like your enhance, that little magic wand. Once you do the magic wand, then something goes up here saying revert to original. But if you haven't done it, then there's, if you've chosen, nah, I'll just open edit, then right now there's nothing yet to revert to. This is original. So then you start working on these by hand. Now, she's already opened these, so she's seen many choices. If you've opened this for the first time, you might see less choices. You might see these closed up, okay? You might see all of them closed up, or you might see them, a few of them opened up. But as I close all these little arrows, these are your choices: light, color, black and white, retouch, red eye. These are all the choices. By default, when you first come to this program, I think light is always open. I think color and I think black and white are always open. For those of you who opened this for the first time, is this how it showed up for you with these three opened up?
Yeah.
If anyone went to edit for the first time, okay. And then the rest are closed out. Because these three are the main ones. I mean, I don't know that black and white would be considered a main one. Not everyone wants to turn things into black and white. So most people don't. I don't know why it's considered one of the main ones. But light and color are two of the real biggies. So the way you can use this, if you don't use the enhance, so right now I don't have the enhance. I got rid of it. I went to the revert to the original. So I can use the light in 3 different ways. And this is the cool thing about photos. You can use it as in, well, I don't know anything. I want photos to do it for me. You can use it in, well, I want to choose a little bit. Or you can use it in, I know a lot about color correction and I want to use the deep tools. So you can use it in 3 different modes. So say that the top mode is this one that says light. So the easy way to use it is to just hit the auto. Now, let me distinguish auto and the auto enhance. When you hit the auto enhance, the computer decided to do a lot of things at once across the spectrum of all of these guys. So when you do auto enhance, maybe it changed the light, it added some color, maybe it did some white balance, maybe it gave it some sharpening. All of that went into the auto enhance. By saying undo that, I've undone everything. And now I can go step by step and try myself. So if I do auto on light, it won't fix color. It'll only fix light. But also it'll do it automatically. Or if I hit auto on color, it'll be automatic, but only for color. Versus auto enhance, it looks at all of that. It does everything automatically all at the same time. So this is more nuanced where you go, well, I like what it did with light, but not with color. So then you go and play. So if you first don't know what you're doing and want it to do it for you, you hit auto. I'm going to hit auto right there. And it made a little change. I don't know if you noticed that this light was in the middle before, this line. It moved it over a little bit. Okay. Now, if I don't like what happened, I get the little undo. I go back one, undo. So that little arrow means undo. So auto, undo. Okay, everyone try. On your photo, say auto. And all we're fixing is light. And then go, nah, not sure, undo. So can you do it? I'm using yours to give you example, but then you don't have the chance to practice on it yourself. So maybe I should, well, it's okay. I'll let you do it. So that's the way to use the computer's information because you don't know. Let's try that. And you do it yourself now, Marcia. Try it with color. Do auto and then undo. I'm letting go of the mouse so you can do it yourself. Auto for color. A little bit of a shift there. And then undo.
How do I get undo? I'm sorry.
The little arrow to the left.
Oh, thank you. Got it.
Perfect. So now it's undo. Auto and undo. Now, if you do auto and then of color and auto of light, then you see 2 changes. Go ahead and do auto for color and then do auto for light. And then go upstairs, up there and say auto for light. So now you have 2 changes done, right? Auto and light. So they both add up. See these little check mark, blue check marks?
Yeah.
That means that that one is being used. Light is being used to correct this and color is being used to correct this. Okay. So now what if you want to see, right now you look at it, you can't see much what happened differently. So you want to see the before and after. So look what I'm taking. My mouse, look at my mouse, which is this one.
Yeah.
There's this thing here that says, I click on it once. Before, I hold it down. After. Before, after. So there's a subtle change. Before, after. Okay, so that is the before and after of both light and color at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now I can go, well, that's good, but it's not enough. Maybe I want to do some more color beyond what the auto said. Maybe I want to pump that color even more. So then I can use this here, which is showing me a degree from lack of color to really saturated. So I can move this and I go, well, I want to take some color away. So now I'm clicking in here and I've left it almost black and white. Or I can click and drag and move it all the way to the very top and make it look like weird neon, right? And then there's somewhere in between there that I can move my mouse and decide, oh, I kind of like it there, or I kind of like it over here. Maybe that's better than before. So it's more than what the auto gave me. So I'm overriding the auto by giving it a little bit more. And then I go back here and I go before, after, before, after. So you hold it down to see the before. And once you're done seeing the before, you let go of your mouse to see the after. And you go, maybe I went too far. And you fix it, and so on and so forth. So everyone, try that with light and with, try it with the light and with the color, that you can move these yourself and find a setting beyond the one that auto gave you that maybe you like better. Try that. So try it on your photos, of course, and Marsha's trying it on hers. So we went from auto, the computer does it for you, to you using this degree of scale to go up and down until you find something you like. Look at, sometimes you'll see that one thing gets better than the other. Like if you look at her sky, she got some shading in that sky now, but it's also looking a bit yellow, which might not be the color you want. The color you want. So maybe you need to back off on color. Or, sorry. Whoa. I'm gonna drink some water. Give me a second. Play around with it while I. Okay. So once you decide something that you like, whichever, it doesn't need to be perfect. That's why the good news is this is all undoable and redoable. So say that that's what you like, and I'm going to just go with the fact that maybe this is what, and many times what she's doing makes sense. Go back to auto, because you kind of lost track of what's right. Click on auto again, and then you can enhance a little bit beyond auto. Sometimes you get back and forth so many times that you get lost on what really worked. And so auto kind of helps to establish some in between. All right.
How do you get the blue check to go off? I don't see that changing at all.
Okay. So if you take the blue check off, that means that you will not have this thing apply. So click on that check mark. And now that means that this whole thing is not applying.
Okay.
So if you want to change color, you need to have the check mark on. So that's like a before and after of just that box. And this would be a before and after of just the color box right there. So over here, you see the before and after way over here of both at the same time. All before and after. But if you turn this on and off here for the little blue one, then it gives you just the before and after of color or just the before and after of light. That.
Deanna, what's the difference between revert to original at the top and reset adjustments at the bottom right?
It could be that you have adjustments that you made here that aren't the same as reverting to original. Maybe you've already made changes from before. Say that I now, here's to reset just light. Yeah. And here's to reset just color, right? If I say reset adjustments, they all went back to 0, which is the same as revert original.
Okay. Okay. Just a different way to say it. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's for all of them. Like this here was just to reset light, and this here is just to reset color. But when you want to reset all of them at the same time, you go to reset adjustments,
but
which is the same as.
After I made my adjustments, there's no save button, right?
No, hold on. I'm not at that point yet though, but we're almost there. So class is almost over. So I wanted to say one more thing. Let you guys play. If this isn't good enough and you want to play a little bit more, if auto isn't good enough and this isn't good enough, see under light, you have a little arrow that says options. If you click on that one, then you have perfect control over everything. This is equivalent to what Photoshop gives you. You can just go to your highlights and only work on your highlights. So you can say, well, I want my highlights to be darker, and see how my sky is getting darker, but not their bodies. Or you want your highlights to be brighter. So now my sky went white, but their bodies are still kind of okay. But his forehead is a highlight, and so is this shadow. So that's getting lighter, but you don't have to act upon the entire photo at the same time. You can individually say, just maybe make my sky a little bit darker because I wanted some color, but maybe lighten the shadows. So then you get to play with this on your own. You can make this darker, make this lighter. So you don't have to go with the automatics. You can go ahead and change things by yourself. So maybe you, when you begin to find that you want a higher level of control, if auto doesn't do it and this doesn't do it, then this is the complete level of control. Now I can say the before and after what I just did to this photo with perfect control. I think I like better than all the other options, right? But that's because I went into this main mode. Now, I'm not going to teach you this main mode right now. I have so much more to teach you about photos that I want you guys to play with this on your own. I speak individually about all of these points when I teach Photoshop, but here I'll let you play and then ask me, well, I really tried to add this or that to this one and it didn't work. If you want next week, and then I'll be able to point to maybe something that might be better for that photo. But you can choose to never get into that, close that options, and only use that or auto, and that alone will get your photo to look way better. And we haven't even begun to touch on the rest of the choices. That's just for these two. When you're done and you say you like it or don't like it, then there's no save. What you say is you say done.
Thank you.
Hit done. And now this is the after version. Now, something has changed that wasn't there before. And do you see these little 3 lines there? And I'm going to make this a bit bigger so you can see them. It's this one. See those 3 little guys? It's hard because you're showing it. It's showing up on white. Okay. But that means this photo has been edited, as opposed to this one that doesn't have anything there that hasn't been edited. This one has been edited. And if I ever want to say, I hate the editing, I want to get rid of it, then I can go back to edit. And yep, you got it. I can revert to original.
Deanna, can you please explain one more time what reset adjustments means?
It's the same. It's the same as revert to original. I reset,
okay.
but all of them at once. Here you could reset just light. Here you reset just color. But here you reset them all at once. Once you reset adjustments, you're back to 0. So now that I've taken all my adjustments away, when I say done, her photo doesn't have that thing anymore because I have basically, after all this work, left her back with an unretouched photo. And it's up to her to go and edit it again. I had edited it for her, but there's no marking up there because this is not, I have cleaned out, I have reset the adjustments.
Is there any way to go back to the adjustments once you clear it?
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So good question. That's why you want to go first before you reset it. What you want to do is you want to say that that you like that and that. I'm just faking too. Before you revert to original, go ahead and go to the before and after to make sure. And if you really don't like them, because once you revert to original, there's no like undo. It's up to you to start all over again.
Okay.
Okay. I'll let you start all over again, and I'm gonna disconnect your share. And I said that I would share. That I would allow people to stay behind if they had specific questions. Can you stop your screen sharing, please?
Yeah.
Cool. So class is officially over if you need to leave. But if you have a question or two, I believe I said I'd answer. I can show you again if you want to see where to find out if your Catalina apps are going to work. What else did I say I could show you? I said there was one more thing that I said I could show you later.
Yeah, both Becky and I, when we clicked done at the end, we didn't get the 3 lines I think you were talking about.
Yeah,
But did you make changes? Did you leave changes or did you revert?
Well, no, I think we made changes.
Oh, okay, okay. I haven't had you guys turn something on yet that she does have turned on. I didn't have you yet turn on your markers. Yeah. Remind me, I'll start next week with that. You have to turn something on to see those markers. So for now, just trust me that if you did an editing, it's there. But I'll start the class next week with that. Okay, it's you have to, that's part of metadata, and you need to start seeing your metadata. So if next week the first thing we are going to do is that, but if in case I forget, remind me. You said you were going to show me how to see the markers, and I'll tell you immediately. Okay, because now enough people have signed out. When I do that, I want everyone to be in the class so that everyone changes their computer at the same time. And right now it'll be spotty, and then some will have it, some won't. So I want to do it in the midst of the class, and I'll do it next week. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Deanna. So Deanna, you were going to help me with this teaching duplicate because I found one of them.
Okay.
I just
No, I need to teach the whole like searching and keywords and stuff like that to the whole class, and then I can explain specifically how to help you find that duplicate. I can't sit here and teach you a half-hour personal class on how to find a duplicate just to you. You know what I mean? There's things that I can help you with, like right now on your setting, but teaching you how to do that comes with me teaching the whole class how to do that. But if you have a specific question right now, you want to show me, I can certainly help you with that.
Well, I found it.
Okay. All right, then share your screen.
Okay. Forgot how to do that. Wait a minute. Don't tell me. I think I shrunk the screen too much. I'm trying to fit two. You have 3 computers. I only have one, so I don't even see the share. I know it's up there, but I can't find it.
If you made your screen very tiny, it might be under 3 little dots that say more.
I'm trying to make it bigger, but
go down to your power. If you don't see the big green share button, it's possible that you see the word more with 3 drops, in which case 3 dots, click on that, and then the share screen will be in that menu.
Wait. Oh, okay. I got it. Share screen. Share. Okay. You are screen sharing.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my final present. You know, they bring in the models of their houses, and but before when you had control of my screen, it had this whole album, and it had it next to it, and underneath it, it had the same exact numbers, which leads me to believe that I've got this whole album twice, but
yeah, it's possible. One thing that it's kind of the same reply that I just gave to Owen, where how do you find out other markings and things for these photos? You need to turn on the metadata, and that's the first thing I'm going to explain next week.
Oh, wait, here it is. Cardiff Class 509, and then untitled album. So
okay.
So, all right, so there's that C113, and then you go here, 113. So that is a double. So if
that's
I want
a duplicate.
Yeah,
right
so
click,
right,
and delete album. You want to delete the photos. The photos are still there under the Cardiff class right now, but you got rid of the duplicate album. Perfect.
Yep. Okay, so that's.
And you have an untitled album there that we did when we were talking that has nothing. You want me to get rid of that one too? Right click and delete it.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Perfect.
You have no idea. I mean, this is my fourth one, and I mean, like, you hear these terms all the time, Photoshop and cropping and this, and you just do it. You just are miraculous. I mean, everybody should have. Oh, I can't say how, this is like very rewarding, you know, because I mean, I've got this thing, $1,700, and I don't, you know, it's like the most expensive emailing device, because I mean, I don't do any of the other stuff that it can do, and you can wave your magic wand, and you're very non-condescending like I can be, and you're just, so anyway.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate my hands-on methods of teaching. Cool.
Okay,
And
so I don't know how to say next week, but I had to say Domani, but how do you say next week?
In Italian?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm Argentinian. I speak Spanish. I do know Italian, but I'm not Italian. My last name is Italian. And I understand Italian because, you know, all our grandparents in Argentina spoke in Italian, but.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I'll say French. I'll say abianto, because that just
actually, I do know. Próxima with S. In proxima is in Spanish, and próxima with S is Italian for next.
Próxima. Okay.
Próxima.
Ciao.
Deanna, do you have time for another question?
Yeah.
Is it possible that I could share my screen with you again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to.
Last question, guys.
Okay. Okay. I got to get out of. Okay, share screen.
Ooh, sorry.
Okay. I'm going to go to desktop 2, and I'm going to try to slide my or get my.
Okay, you need to do one more share. We're still not seeing your screen.
Okay. But there's nothing on it right now. I've got to pull up my photos. There we go.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
I hope it's coming. Are you coming? Ah, it's not opening. I think I'm having trouble with my touch screen. I'm trying to open up photos. You can't see it, can you? I'll go to here. I'll show you what's happening. Now, can you see my?
No, not sharing yet.
Oh, sorry. Gosh darn it. So many buttons to push. Share. Okay. Share. All right.
Okay. So your photos looks like it's open, but it's not coming up. So that's interesting. You know how you see the little dot underneath the icon? Now, if you look at your dock, photos is open. What's missing is the window. Could it be that you have it in another screen?
Well,
under other stuff?
Now I want to drag it over to the monitor.
Could it be that it's hiding under Safari or something? There it is.
There we go. Okay, now when I try to put these, get rid of these photos, if I click on the first one and do shift and go to the last one, and then I right click.
No, now you have to be on a photo to right click. So go onto a photo. There you go. Now right click.
It says remove 37 photos from album.
Because you're trying to get rid of them from an album, which is fine. But if it's the entire album, you might as well get rid of the album. Because otherwise you'll end up with an album there that's empty.
Oh gosh, great distinction.
So,
what do we do?
I mean, if you're going to delete 10 photos from the album and leave 27, that's fine. But if you're going to get rid of it, then go straight to the album on the left side and right click on the album and say remove album.
Go to the album.
Down there, down, it's selected. It's the last one down. You were down, go to the albums again. You were almost there. Yeah, to the left, that down one, the selected one, which is the dark one. Down, one more, 2 down, down. Yeah, that one.
That's I didn't even see that.
That's that one because it's selected. So you can right click on it. Oh, you need to make a little bit more space for your names because now you've got the name hidden. Can you put your mouse on that? Yeah, there. And there we go. So now you can see, now you had clicked in it and that's why the name, so click away from it again so that the name doesn't, yeah. And now select it, right click and delete album.
Wow. Okay. That's so helpful. No wonder I was so lost. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Wonderful.
Welcome. You're
All
welcome.
right.
Is that it? Now you have a folder with nothing in it if you want to get rid of the folder too, or is that something you're going to use later?
No, this is the folder, right, that I want to get rid of. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's empty, right? Because there's nothing
Yeah,
showing up.
if there's nothing in it. So right click and delete folder.
Ah, thank you.
Oh, and then it seems like you have a folder called Karen Birthday Boat Ride that now will be empty, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So right click on that one too. And delete folder. That
Woo.
way you don't want to have like loose empty things, unless you can have an empty thing if you're going to fill it with something else. But if it's
No.
unnecessary,
No.
you're done. You cleared all that out.
Okay, thank you. Beautiful.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, I'll see you next. Ooh, yawn. That was, I needed that little yawn. I'm going to stop your share.
Okay.
And I'll see you guys in a week. Or if you guys take the Mac class, that's true. I'll see you on Tuesday next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.